setback. John Elway, a pitch in on first down, lets it go long. He's got a man wide open. Butch Johnson, a favorite of Dan Reeves from their days together in Dallas, comes down with the ball. A 19-yard gain on the play and a first down. Defensively, the Raiders are big and they're bad. Long and Alzado, two great pass rushers, and Kinlaw, the most underrated nose guard in football. Jeff Barnes steps in now for injured Stanley Adams at outside linebacker. You know how good the Raider backers are. They've been in concert together for a long time. No better set of corners in all of football than Lester Hayes and Mike Haynes, and the safeties, Davis and McElroy, aren't far behind. Pro Bowl quality in all four. First and 10, Denver, after a 19-yard pass catch play for the Broncos. Sammy Winder gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Bob Nelson, an inside linebacker veteran from Nebraska, got him.
A lot of pressure on the Broncos here early. They'll be trying to get that running game on track if they can. They create a lot more room for their pass receivers and a lot more time for their quarterback.
Broncos going into alignment here, Merlin, without a huddle. But John Elway making sure everybody's on the same page. Raiders are set as Butch Johnson goes in motion. Sammy Winder cutting back, and he's across the 40 and out to the 43 on a 2nd and 10 play.
The Raiders like to move a lot of people in and out of the lineup. One of the ways to keep the extra defensive people on the sideline is to go without a huddle. But as you see here, the Broncos have dropped back to huddle, and we get extra substitutions into the game. A 4th defensive lineman, Piquel, as well as a couple of extra defensive backs.
Tom Flores wants to get those pass rushers in, so with a 3rd down and 6 coming up now. Elway looks at a 4 wideout setup. Wilhite's in the game. He's stacked behind a wide receiver. See Gerald Wilhite coming now over into in motion as Elway takes a look. Penalty marker goes down, and so does John Elway back inside his 35-yard line as the Raider rush comes crushing in. Alzado led the charge.
Well, Lyle Alzado is certainly one of the most emotional of these players. He was traded away from this Denver team a long time ago. Studdard actually did a good job of wrestling with him. That's about as much time as a quarterback can expect. Alzado actually the 2nd man there. I believe it was Piquel, the 1st man, that got a crunch on him. But you can't take that much time. There was a flag on the play, and they're going to mark off a penalty, apparently. Let's see. Here comes the count.
Holding number 26. Defense. Automatic first down.
Aha, it goes against the defense. Jerry Markbright, the referee today, and so the ball is advanced out to the Bronco 47-yard line, and a first down on the defensive penalty call. Finals coming in from the east. Miami with Moreno throwing for over 400 yards. Beats St. Louis 36-28. The Dolphins are perfect through 5 weeks. New England upsets the Jets 28-21. Tony Eason was back in the lineup and throwing for touchdowns for the Patriots. First down and 10. Denver Broncos. No score. First quarter. Elway throws on the run, and a great catch by Watson down at the 42-yard line of Los Angeles. Strong safety Mike Davis stuck him, but it's an 11-yard gain and another Denver first down.
Watson had been almost absent from the Denver game plan in the early going. He came back, caught 7 passes last week. But the thing that makes this play work is the ability of Elway to get some extra time. Right here, he's under pressure. Howie Long, number 75, in on him. He gets to the outside, throws on the run. Fine catch by Watson, who hung on under pressure to get the first down.
Broncos moving, opening drive, throwing the ball. First and 10, 42-yard line of L.A. Winder. Misdirection run, and Winder came back weak side and got down to the 40, a gain of only about 2 yards, so it's going to be 2nd down at 8. Bob Nelson was on the tackle.
This Raider defense is not easy to run against. They're tough on the ground, and they'll keep personnel in the game who know how to play the run well. Kinlaw, for example, a better player of the running game than is Piquel. If we were seeing a lot more passing, I think we might see Piquel at that nose tackle position.
Piquel leads the Raiders in sacks. He has 5. Second-year player from Rutgers. Raiders with a lot of defensive alignments. Looking for the rush now as Elway with a 2nd and 8. Penalty marker down. Elway takes a look, and he's going to run with the ball. Down to the really only about the line of scrimmage, the 39.
Don, this H-back setup puts a man in motion. On that play, Don Sawyer, number 83, was coming across the line, and I believe he turned up before the snap. Let's take a peek at it. Maybe you'll see it for yourselves. What you try and do with this H-back is put him in motion. You change the strength right here. Now, he's not allowed to turn up until after the snap.
Offense declined.
Well, I don't believe it was him. Who did they call it on, Don?
I didn't get it now. Who's...
Well, we're gonna microphone not working very effectively. It may have been on number 83 Sawyer.
Dallas now goes to 4-1, beating the Bears at Chicago on a day of big plays at Soldier Field. Raiders now facing a 3rd down and 7 play coming up. As Elway drops back to his 44-yard line of Los Angeles. Elway with that quick release, but he's got to get it away now. The rush is coming. Here's another penalty marker and a good breakup. Coming up to break the play up was Jim Davis, an extra defensive back, number 45 for Los Angeles.
Paul Howard, number 60, is saying, I didn't hold him. I didn't hold him. The official, however, is not replacing that hanky in his pocket.
Signal against the Broncos again.
Holding, number 60. Offense declined. 4th down.
Real pressure applied to Elway, and in the form of the rush here. Here's Watson going down one-on-one. James Davis, 45, they've got him in a sandwich there. The two Davis boys, Mike and James, and Mike up to pop that football. Really tough to catch it when you've got somebody in your lap with you like that.
You're doubling up on Watson. Greg Pruitt is back now, anticipating the punt. Chris Norman, a rookie punter's in the game from South Carolina.
He's been taking a lot of time with his punts. Let's see if they come after him. If they don't do it here, I think we'll see it soon.
We got 10 men on the line, do the Raiders. No score, first quarter. Norman hits it high, and Pruitt will let it carry into the end zone. So it's a touchback. Ball out to the 20. And the world champions, the Raiders, will go on offense for the first time in this game when we come back with 11:38 to play in the first quarter. Merlin, the oxygen tanks, very much a part of the game plan here.
Well, you'll see a lot of players sucking that oxygen on the sideline. You can't get enough here if you're not used to this altitude.
Jim Plunkett on first down. Deep drop, looking over the middle. He's got his man taking the ball. Come out of the backfield is Kenny King. And the relentless pursuit of the Denver defense, a hallmark of this defense over the years under Joel Collier, swarms to the ball, but it's a good gain for the Raiders. Plunkett at quarterback, the great Marcus Allen team with Kenny King. Christensen on target for maybe 100 receptions this year, the way he's been catching the ball, as 24 coming in. Like all Raider offensive lines, this one is huge. And Dalby, a key player back at center. Second down and 3, Los Angeles. Plunkett putting it right up. As a man over the middle again, he goes to Christensen, coming in beneath the linebackers. He's ahead for a first down to the 34-yard line. The Broncos on defense have given up a lot of yards, but not a lot of points. 6 shutout quarters. Chavis, Carter, and Jones. Good defensive front. Linebackers missing the retired Gradishar, but Busick now leads in tackles. Jackson's always good against the Raiders. Louis Wright, an excellent cornerback, and Dennis Smith becoming a Pro Bowler at strong safety for Denver.
Don, they put Carl Mecklenburg in the game. They'll use him much like A.J. Dewey, up and down. Right now he's down in place of a lineman.
First carry of the game to Marcus Allen, and he's ahead on a first down across the 40 into about the 41-yard line where Jackson knocked him down.
I talked to Joe Collier, the veteran coordinator of the defense here in Denver, and we were talking about Marcus. He said Marcus Allen is the most dangerous offensive weapon in the entire NFL, and he said not only does he run the ball so effectively, but he catches it just with great hands, and then his ability to throw the ball just frightens those defensive members of the secondary. They don't know when to come up and when to stay back.
He doesn't throw often, but most of them have been for touchdowns in his career. Second down and 4. Marcus Allen straight up slashing down outside the 45-yard line. He appears to have a Raider first down. He does. Reuben Carter, the middle guard, got him along with Busick, but that Raider offensive front, Merlin, blasting out the Denver defense.
One of the things that this Raider offensive line will do to you They will hammer on you all day long and wear you down a little bit at a time. Here's the stats on the series. The Raiders lead the series 34-11-2. They've won 7 of the last 9. They've been one of the teams, one of the few teams to win quite consistently here in the Broncos' home park.
They really have over the years. They've won a lot here. As Plunkett goes long, it's going to be intercepted. The ball is picked off by Mike Harden, number 31, the right corner. Plunkett hung it. Harden, like a center fielder, ran under it, screened away the receiver. They were going to Malcolm Barnwell.
Jimmy Plunkett told me just before the game, he said, we have trouble getting the ball deep against this Bronco defense because they tend to try and keep everything in front of them. Harden's the guy they wanted to try and pick on, but Plunkett just could not get the ball deep. And look how quickly Harden got the jump. Out very well in front of Barnwell. That's his ball all the way.
Harden's on a roll. He ran one back, an interception for a touchdown last week against KC. Jim Plunkett just put up a long one, but Mike Harden of the Broncos came down with it. He's having a big couple of weeks now after running one back against Kansas City for a touchdown a week ago. So the Raider drive is stopped. The Broncos have the ball. Scoreless first quarter, second possession for Denver. Starting in their own end of the 15. Sammy Winder, a cutback runner, but the Raider linebackers filling and waiting and knocking him down hard.
The Broncos will put some interesting twists into their offense. They'll occasionally unbalance their offensive line. They'll also put an extra offensive tackle in the game and come with 3 offensive tackles. Of course, they create some recognition process for you, or some problems in the process. There's John Elway. Elway's completion ratio on the year, we said he's been up and down. He's had some great games. He's had some problems.
Right now he's going 2nd and 8, just putting it up for grabs, and Watson knocks it down. Lester Hayes was looming ominously. There he is, Lester. No, that's
Jeff Barnes.
Barnes.
Barnes, the man in on the blitz, and Stanley Adams' knee was injured last week. That means Barnes is going to be doing triple duty today, playing on both run and pass downs. You see him pulling in some oxygen there. He's also on almost all of the special teams, and one of the big special teams performers for the Raiders.
Mike Haynes, of course, most of his career in New England, he ran around the field before the game early night. He said to me, "It really is thin here. I'm worried about this. Is it mostly psychological?"
Some of it is. If you let it get to you, you're in trouble. An audible coming from Elway as he drops back in the shotgun.
He has a 3rd down and 7 coming out. Strike, Butch Johnson. First down, Broncos, as the ball is out to the 27-yard line. There's a penalty marker down in the Denver backfield.
Looks like we've got another holding call back there. Kenny Lanier working one-on-one on Howie Long. Howie, I still believe, is the best pass rusher for this Raider defense, and that's a big job for Lanier. But that's, you see the strength of Elway's arm, and that really is what he does best.
Illegal use of the hands, number 76, Vince.
Now a microphone breaking up, but we did hear the penalty called against Lanier. As you see Reeves on the sideline. The plays are signaled into Elway. They're signaled in by the quarterbacks. Kubiak standing there will be signaling. A very complex signaling system. They feel they can get them onto the field much quicker that way. Of course, they need a good play here with 3rd and about, well, what is that, about 16 yards to go?
That's about what they have. So Elway be looking to pitch again here on 3rd down, and that Raider rush with Piquel in the lineup looking to come.
Elway 2 for 4 so far at 30 yards, but they need a big one here, and the rush is going to be breathing down his neck.
Raider corners playing well off. Elway stands in. It's a loop ball. It could be intercepted.
What happened there? I think it got out of his hand. Either he got swatted on the hand. Howie Long, 75, was in there, or else that ball just got away from him.
Lester Hayes was close to it. Watson knocked it down. More scores heading in. Seattle defeating Minnesota, so the Seahawks, despite the loss of the great Kurt Warner, go to 4-1. Indianapolis opened up in the late minutes of the game and beat Buffalo after trailing 31-17. The Bills in the Bill Fralick Bowl, they're 0-5.
Norman kicking out of his own end zone, only 38 yards, a net of 18 on his first punt.
Unloads.
Good high kick.
Punt. Pruitt. They're catching the ball at his 48. So the Raiders get it for a second time, but they get it in very good field position with no score up. 7:39 to play in the first quarter. The Raider offense comes out. Plunkett be at the down Cricky with Merlin Olsen back at Denver. Merlin, the Broncos not taking too good care of Elway as part.
Well, he's getting a little heat down there, but when you're in those third and long yardage situations, that's what you've got to expect. That's a lineman's dream.
Marcus Allen breaks it on a first down carry running wide, cutting back down to the 45-yard line. Marcus Allen gains 7.
Every time Marcus touches the ball, he's dangerous. He comes around that corner. He's just got such incredible change of pace and acceleration. Looking at him from behind, following the blocking of Frank Hawkins, 27. Mosbar is out there. Christensen is out there. Look at the way he's cutting back in, sliding against the grain. Steve Foley, 43, in there to make that tackle. A good stop, but good for about 6 yards. Second 4.
Raiders with a straight pro set. They don't do many fancy things. They just do everything well. Here's Plunkett looking deep. Rulon Jones had him. He lofts it out, and Marcus Allen has the ball tipped away. Jim Ryan, a linebacker, just nipped it away. Marcus might have gone the distance, Merlin.
That was an interesting play, and you get an idea of one of Plunkett's strengths, which is to sift through all of that pressure. Watch Allen on the left-hand side of your screen. Look at all the pressure. Rulon Jones, the last guy. Plunkett still throws that ball out, and I think that ball was tapped, or Marcus probably would have had it in his hands and headed off. Ryan, number 50, the man working on him one-on-one.
Marcus leading the league in times in the end zone. He scored 6 touchdowns already. 4 on Monday night. That win over San Diego. Now it is third down and a long 3, about 4 to go for the first down for Los Angeles. 45-yard line of Denver. No score first quarter. Man is open, but the ball is a little bit long. It was Marcus Allen coming out of the backfield. He beat the linebacker downfield.
This Denver defense picking up where they left off last week. They shut out Kansas City on 13 third down opportunities. Now that's tough defense, and you feel the enthusiasm and the role that this crowd will play in the game today.
The Giants enjoying one of their rare winning seasons, leading in the first quarter over the Rams at Anaheim. New Orleans out in front of Houston. The Oilers go in 0-4. Tampa Bay with a 7-0 lead. Ray Guy doesn't have that long a punting average, but as always, net punting is his game, and that's what counts, and he's second in the NFL in that, over 39 yards net punting when you add in the return. Great angle kicker. He does it here as Wilhite goes back. It takes a Raider hop. Finally goes in. Very nearly down inside the 2-yard line. So the Broncos come out first and 10. 2 times the fun. It's a doubleheader of football next week on NBC Sports. The Raiders and the Broncos celebrating their silver anniversaries in pro football, and as you see, they're the only 2 original AFL teams to have winning records since the 1970 merger. Raiders have won here at Mile High Stadium 16 times over the years. They've lost just 5, and there were 2 ties. They're tough everywhere they go. No score first quarter, and the Broncos have the ball first and 10. Elway's been pressured. Goes to the run. Winder looks for blocks, has 1, cuts back, and he's ahead across the 25. Well done by the Broncos, a 7-yard gain.
Don, a good running back has to do a lot of things, but one of the first things he has to do is see the openings in that offensive line and then take advantage of them. Jack Squarick, 58, overrunning the play slightly. You see Winder cut back underneath, and then did you see how he wrapped both arms around that football? He's protecting it. Does not want to cough that football up. He's run 5 times for 16 yards here in the early going.
Squarick pronounces the preseason with a jaw fracture. He had that big play in the Super Bowl, running back the Theismann interception to really put the game away before halftime. Here is a 2nd and 3. Elway looks. He can run for a first down. Bails out. I don't know if he got there.
I don't think he got the first down. In fact, he's going to be short of the first down. It looked like Elway simply didn't want to be hit on that play. You'd think he would know that Squarick has been away with a broken jaw and probably doesn't want to put his head in there either. Squarick, by the way, had his jaw wired, had a break on both the right and the left side, lost about 8 pounds, has now put about 3 of that back on, and they have a special cage, a face mask, a big face mask to try and protect that jaw out there today. But it wasn't that long ago that he was sent to the hospital with the 2 breaks in that jaw.
Third down and 1 yard to go for the Denver Broncos. Swing pass, it's a little bit high, and Rod Martin almost had a play on the ball. Watching Elway run out of bounds. Merlin, of course, all the quarterbacks are instructed to do that. Reminds me of something your old friend Joe Kapp said to his coach at Minnesota, Bud Grant, one day. Grant says, why do you persist in running into linebackers? Why don't you run out of bounds? He said, running out of bounds is for gringos.
Well, I'll tell you that Dan Reeves, one of the first things that he had to do here is talk to Elway about getting out of bounds, because Elway, when he came, wanted to take it upfield. He's not afraid to do that. But if he's hurt, you lose your starting quarterback, and that's quite a drop then to the number 2 man.
Greg Pruitt dropped back now for the Raiders, awaiting a punt from Chris Norman. Hit the last one very well and does again. Really puts a charge into it.
Great hang time on that ball.
Fair catch, a signal for him made inside the 25. So Chris Norman, the rookie from South Carolina, number 1, who came under some criticism from his coach last week, is really performing today.
Watching that ball sail, I think a good 5, maybe even a little over 5 seconds on the ball. 47 yards. High, high, up into the sky. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Finally, it came down.
Captain Jackson, great linebacker. All the Broncos get fired up playing the Raiders. Nobody more than him, Merlin.
He's played against them for a lot of years now, twice a year. He loves the game.
And has a history of big plays against the Raiders. 1st and 10, Plunkett with a lot of time, but he's running out of it. Loops, oh, man. Incomplete pass.
Marcus Allen still on the ground after that devastating shot.
If he isn't tough, he's up.
This is the physical nature of this rivalry.
Man.
You said it earlier, they don't like each other. At the top part of your screen now, just a leveling shot right there. Mecklenburg, crack. Another shot right there. Carl Mecklenburg, who's played both defensive line and linebacker. He just absolutely leveled Marcus Allen.
He was up, though, Merlin, at about a 3 count. Couldn't KO him.
Plunkett now 2 for 6. And 1 interception. Is not having a very good passing day today.
Look at this. They go right back to Marcus Allen. Trick play, but it's not working. Bronco fans starting that Rocky Mountain Thunder as the defense comes up with a big play.
This Denver defense prides itself on making big plays. Marcus getting to the outside, gets strangled on that play. Let's go and look at their emotional leader, Tommy Jackson. He's up quickly, inside of the block right there, and does a perfect job of spinning off. Now Marcus trying to get that ball to Kenny King, and I think Kenny might have said, hey Marcus, I don't want it. You got too many orange shirts here.
Well, and the net result was about a 6-yard loss. Action Jackson on the hunt. Now they're really starting up in Denver, and they can get it rolling here, and usually it's the defense that ignites them.
Well, I think
got a timeout on the board. 4:39 to play in the first quarter. Raiders have the ball, but the Bronco defense controlling. There's Joel Collier in the orange hat. Quiet in demeanor, but his defense is fierce.
His defense is a big play defense. Look at the numbers here. 21st they rank on defense. But that's not the stat they're interested in. They're interested in points allowed. And you see here they're 2nd in the league in points allowed.
Yeah, 3rd down and 16 as Plunkett sends 2 men wide left. 3-man rush. Plunkett eludes it. Here it comes. And he's hunted down by Rulon Jones inside the 20. Bronco defense really up to speed at this point, eating up the Raider offense.
Plunkett pressured from the inside. They broke the cup on the inside. They got good heat on him, then rolled out and was simply run down from behind. A good job by the Broncos secondary. No one available to throw that football to. Collier's got to be happy with the way his defensive troops are performing here.
Rulon Jones from the same school that you and brother Phil distinguished yourselves at, Utah State.
One of our happy alums and doing a good job on that play.
The punt by Ray Guy. It's a long one, a spiral. Going back is Gerald Wilhite. He'll return it. Hey. So Ray Guy, his job well done, but the Broncos have good field position. Join us next Sunday for an NFL doubleheader on NBC Sports. Start the day at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL 84 and host Bob Costas. Then great NFL action begins. In our first game, some of you will see Dan Marino, who threw for over 400 yards today, and the unbeaten Miami Dolphins going against Louis Lips and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Then in the second half, some of you will see the Seattle Seahawks take on these world champion Raiders. Your team plays here next Sunday on NBC Sports. 4:01 to play. First quarter really heating up now with big defensive plays. No score as John Elway gives to Sammy Winder. 40. And he rips off a long gainer, longest of the day, before Van McElroy, the free safety, and Mike Haynes ran him down. 23-yard gain.
You kind of get the feeling that the offense is picked up with a little enthusiasm. A little draw play here. Winder seeing the opening to the outside. Look how he set that up. Kind of pulled everybody in. Has now run 6 times for 39 yards. Good job. Now Alcedo, he's one of the guys that's got to read pass on this. And there's Bishop, actually 54, squeezing him to the outside, making room for that play on the inside. Good blocking on the line of scrimmage.
Well, the good defensive play of the Broncos apparently inspired the offense. And now it's 1st and 10 Denver. Winder again. And he comes inside the 25-yard line, ahead for another good gain, and they're not done yet. 2 guys still swinging out there. While Alcedo was going at it with rookie tight end Clarence Kay of the Broncos.
Well, Clarence Kay, the man responsible for blocking down on Alcedo on that play, and Alcedo simply said, I'm not going to put up with this. Let's look on the left side of our screen. There's 88, Clarence Kay. His job is to stay in front of Lyle Alcedo, and he's doing a good job. Reeves said he's the finest blocking tight end he's ever seen him come into the league. On the end of the play, where you see them take Winder to the ground after the big game, and this Denver offense is moving the ball on the ground against the Broncos against the Raiders defense.
David Stutter put somebody flat on their back. And second and short yardage, Winder's ahead for a first down. Sammy Winder in his 3rd year from Southern Mississippi. He's 5'11", 203. Came in the 4th round of the draft. And this year he's accounted for almost 40% of the total offensive yards of the Denver Broncos, receiving and running.
Well, we'd seen Lyle Alcedo pushed out of that last play. They didn't get him out of this play as he gets across Studdard, actually pushes Studdard right in there to get a piece of the tackle, reached out with that long arm and helped bring him down.
So it's 1st and 10 as the Broncos drive on in this scoreless game. First quarter. Winder again looking for the cutback, and he comes down inside the 20 to about the 16.
Broncos utilizing 3 tackles on that play as Winfred Hood went in there at the outside. They moved Studdard out on that particular formation at tight end.
And now, Merlin, we're going to take a look at the scoreboard again. Kansas City has defeated Cleveland 10-6. Chiefs coming from behind to win that one. They're 3-2. Atlanta out in front of favored San Francisco on a field goal in the second quarter at Candlestick. Giants still lead the Rams 6-0. McConkey, a kid from Annapolis, recovered a kickoff in the end zone from the Giants for their touchdown. Bill McConkey. 2nd and 8. Running hard is Sammy Winder. Like all the good ones, the more he gets it, the more he likes it. He's down to about the 11-yard line where Van McElroy knocked him down. San Diego has moved out in front of Detroit 7-0 in the second quarter. Eagles and the Skins no score at RFK in Washington. Dan Reeves Sunderland plays through Gary Kubiak.
We said we were going to keep an eye on these running backs today. So far, it's heavily in favor of Sammy Winder. 56 yards going into that play, now at 61. Only 12 yards for Allen.
3rd down and 2 for the Broncos. Here comes Wilhite. A lot of speed. He dives inside the 10-yard line. He's going to be close to a first down. We'll see if we got it. Howie Long knocked him down along with Mike Davis.
Mike Davis questioning the spot on that play. Looks like they've got the first down. You know, there's some concern that the Raiders would be a little down going into this game. After that big Monday night game and an emotional victory, a come-from-behind victory, they had to travel. They were tired in practice, and it's not easy to go through that and then get up here and play a team that has been looking forward to playing you for a long time. It's a tough job for a coach like Tom Flores to get his troops jacked up for this game.
Right now, the defense of the Raiders is pressured. First and goal, Denver. First quarter ends before the snap. So they'll go to the other end. Broncos have controlled the game for the last 6 minutes or so. They could be ready to score. Putting a little more difficult here, Merlin, as they come to the baseball end of Mile High Stadium.
Well, switching ends as they did, get down inside the 10 makes it a little difficult for them. They don't like playing in that loose dirt. Hard to get your footing. Let's look at the stats. Time of possession, a very important measure of ball control. The Broncos able to control the ball in that first half, and they're doing in the first quarter, doing it primarily with a good combination of running and passing. We said the key to this ball game, the ability of the Broncos to run the football. It's gotten them in position to score. Let's see if they can get some points on the board.
Interesting 7 plays in this Denver drive and no passes. They've all been runs, and Winder's been the prime performer. He's the lone setback now. He gets it again. The Raiders are looking for Winder all the way as he's hit by the middle guard Reggie Kinlaw. Maybe one of the most underrated players in the league, Merlin. The Raider coaches all say a real key to routing the Redskins in the Super Bowl was the way that Kinlaw totally negated the blocking of the Washington center. Bostic just took their whole line blocking apart.
Well, he's not only very quick, but has good techniques on the nose. And he was talking about Billy Bryan. He has a lot of respect for the Denver center. He said Billy's a great technician. He said we usually have good physical battles on the line of scrimmage.
Field short now. This is where the yards get tough for Denver. Less to protect for that great Raider defense as Elway looks to throw. There's a blitz. Rod Martin can't get to him. A throw. It's too much on it. Elway with a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Looking for the tight end Clarence Kay.
Well, one of the things that Elway will try and do is just unload it. Look at Reeves. He's got a sheet tucked under his arm there as you see Kubiak signaling in the play. On that sheet, by down and distance, will be the plays that Reeves wants to run today. He said, I don't put them on there with any preference. I just put them on there according to short yardage, goal line, down and distance, and I'll look at that sheet and make the call from that sheet.
Let's see what he goes to. You see Elway's numbers. That first throw of the game, the 19-yarder, really the only big producer. And Elway sees something he doesn't like, and he wants to get some counsel from the sidelines. You don't want to blow a scoring chance down close, and so with 14-14 left to play in the first half and no score on the board, John Elway comes over for some input from the coach.
Today's game is brought to you by Mercury, cars that combine quality and engineering beautifully. By Nike, and by Prestone 2 Antifreeze. America goes with Prestone.
With Merlin Olsen, this is Don Criqui back at Mile High Stadium. The Broncos are challenging in a scoreless game. Broncos, as you see, a strong offensive output in the second quarter this season. Most of their points have come in this 15 minutes. Big down now, 3rd and goal from just inside the 10. Elway looks it. He goes to a tight end, and John Sawyer takes it, but he's quickly knocked out of bounds as the Raiders had it covered all the way, and the field goal unit comes out. Otis McKinney hit him.
And the blitz coming from the backside. Jeff Barnes all by himself. Elway sensed the pressure, got the ball off. Country Sawyer taking it out of bounds with a little help from the Raider defense. Rich Carlos, well, he may learn a little respect.
There's a free agent's been around 3 years now.
Yeah, well, he's
well.
I don't know if you want to talk about the world champions that way. You see, he's a barefooted kicker. He'll be kicking from 27 yards out.
He only kicked 1 field goal this season. He's 1 for 3. Norman holds. He's got that one, it looks like. He does. So Broncos don't take it in the end zone, but they do come away with points. And now we have the first score of the day up. It is 3-0 Denver with the Broncos ready to kick it off. We will, of course, be with you with live coverage of all the action right through the championship game of the '86 World Cup from Mexico City. Carlos now kicks off after hitting a 27-yard field goal, and he puts this right out of the end zone.
Look at that.
No question, Merlin, the altitude helps the kicker.
It is. It's like playing golf at this altitude. It's almost 1 club longer. These kickers enjoy seeing that ball sail. Many of the kicking records of the NFL set right here in this stadium.
Jim Plunkett straps on his battle hat and comes back out. What a career he's had. Best player in college football in '70, the Heisman Trophy. And he quarterbacked that upset win over Stanford, or over Ohio State for Stanford in the Rose Bowl as MVP of that game.
the thing that has always impressed me, he's been counted out so many times as a pro. He keeps coming back, and he's almost better every time he comes back.
Never been to the Pro Bowl, but he's quarterbacked 2 Super Bowl championship teams, Jim Plunkett. First and 10, he pitches back to Marcus Allen. Broncos continue to swarm to the ball. There's a short gain on the play.
Score by quarters for the Bronco team, and you notice they have yet to score in the first quarter throughout this season. This second quarter has been their most impressive. Henry Lawrence, number 70, down on the field. They're sending assistants. Dr. Rosenfeld out from the sideline, and Shelby Jordan, big number 74, coming out. He's rolled over on his side, but he's not up yet.
Raiders always with depth of talent, though. Shelby Jordan was a top tackle at New England. They acquired him last season. Hasn't had a lot of playing time. Henry Lawrence, a #1 draft choice back in '74, has been a stalwart in that Raider offensive line for a lot of years.
He certainly has, and even though you have good backup people, you don't want to lose a player of the quality of Henry Lawrence. Let's go back and take a quick peek at it, see what happened. He's right on the right-hand part of your screen. That's 57 Jackson. It looked like he kind of got rolled in under the stack there. Tommy Jackson, number 57, was the guy that was kind of pushing on him, trying to get into the play. George Anderson, the trainer, out there with him. Let's see how he's walking as he heads for the sideline. Hell, he's not moving too badly. Does not look like that's a serious injury. In fact, I think we may see more of Henry before this quarter is out.
Shelby Jordan comes in, and the Raiders, who've not run the ball well recently against San Diego Monday night, they only averaged about 1.8 yards a carry, trying to get that running game going.
Plunkett talked about the running game. He said we've got to get our running game going, and we mentioned the running comparison between these two and how important it was for the Broncos to run. They indeed have run. On the other hand, the Raiders have run rather ineffectively in this first half of the ballgame.
Raiders trail 3-0. Here's Plunkett looking long. There it goes downfield, and it's overthrown. Again, good quickness in the Denver defense. Moves quickly to the ball. Cliff Branch, the deep heat in the Raider offense. 13 years in the league. Played at nearby Boulder at the University of Colorado, where he was clocked indoors in the 100-yard dash in 9.2 seconds.
Jackson coming in on that play. Harden there for the Broncos. Lawrence looks like he's probably ready to come back into the ball game now, but they hope they could work underneath Mike Hardy on that far side, and they have not been able to do it so far. He's been able to make the plays.
Speed of Branch. I don't know what kind of building they found to run it indoors, but it's in the Raider push book. He ran 9.2 indoors, 100 yards. Here's Plunkett looking at him again. But he goes to Marcus Allen, and he breaks the defense. And on a 3rd and long, Marcus Allen is across the 35, out for an 18-yard gain on the catch. It's a first down for the Raiders.
Well, when you evaluate the performance of a particular player, you have to look at everything he did or did not do in the game. When you look at Marcus Allen, you have to look at receptions as well as runs. Look at the quick move to get free on that play. That's Randy Robbins, 48, covering him. But Marcus not only got clean, but made a good catch, picks up the first down.
And it brings up 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line of Los Angeles. Second back through is Marcus Allen. He's not done yet. Looked like he was caught. He could go. Foley with an angle on him, and Foley finally knocks him down after a big gain. Marcus Allen jammed at the line of scrimmage, sprinting to the outside. He is ahead for a big gain. Now the Raiders are starting to threaten.
There's a good coaching point as Marcus ends up on a 29-yard gain on what looked to be stopped for a 2-yard gain. You can't quit. Don't care whether you're playing Pop Warner football or high school football or college football. Look what happens here. Everyone assumes that Marcus is down, but Marcus is not down. And you see Steve Foley, 43. He's the only guy that had a chance there. If he gets away from Foley, Marcus gets into the end zone.
And all this after that hellacious hit he took that would have knocked most players out for the game, but he was back 2 plays later. Right now, we have Plunkett looking and firing, and Cliff Branch turns out and makes the catch at the 19. Perfect timing as Plunkett releases and Branch makes the cut.
Now that's the kind of play that Plunkett and Branch talked about. They felt that Hardy would give them room on that right side, having to honor the speed of Branch. On that play, the timing was right. They pick up 12 yards and another first down, and the Raiders starting to pick up the tempo. They've been a slow starting team throughout this season. A very strange tempo to the way they played the game. They always seem to play, however, well enough to win.
Well, they say when they have to put it on the line, they go to a different level. They elevate the whole play, win the game. We'll see what they do now, trailing 3-0. Here's a flat pass. Dennis Smith waiting for that one moment the defensive backs wait for when the instincts take over and they go for the ball. He almost did.
Greg Pruitt out of the backfield. He's used not only as a punt returner, but often as a receiver out of the backfield.
Marino over 400 yards throwing today, but Miami lost one of its best players, Bo Camper, with an actual ankle fracture. Jets upset. Dallas beats Chicago. 2 losses in a row for the Bears. Kansas City back on the win track. No losing teams in the AFC West. Seattle wins again. Buffalo loses again. 0-5. Second down and 10. Hand up to Marcus Allen, but he runs headlong into Jim Ryan, the outside linebacker, number 50.
This is where the stats we showed you earlier come into play. The yardage figures that have Denver as the 21st defensive team, or 21st ranking in the league, and yet in terms of points allowed, second in the league.
Rams come back on a Dwayne Crutchfield touchdown run. San Diego extends its lead over Detroit. Washington gets on the board, now leading the Eagles 7-0. New Orleans over winless Houston in the second quarter. Big down now for the Raiders. It's third down and 10. 19-yard line of Denver Broncos lead. Blitz is picked up. Here's a throw to Christensen. He's going to go in. Touchdown Raiders.
Todd Christensen cutting right over the center, and it looked like Branch thought that pass was thrown to him. 2 receivers cutting at slightly different depths. But let's take a quick peek at number 46, Todd Christensen. There's the pass. You see Branch coming across? Todd reached up, took it out of his hands. I think perhaps either one of them could have caught it, but it will be Christensen with the 7 points. Let's see how he got open. He finds the open territory right there. 31, Mike Hart, coming over to try and get a piece of him, but couldn't keep him out of the end zone.
Raiders coming up with a big play on third down. Good for 19 yards and a touchdown. Barr drills the extra point. So Los Angeles is on the board for the first time, and with the touchdown, they take the lead. It is a 7-3 game. Raiders in the lead. Todd Christensen's 25th reception. Good for a touchdown.
Don, that's only the second touchdown pass allowed during the season by the Bronco defense. So they have been very stingy through the air lanes. The Raiders coming right back. Looked like they woke up after that field goal.
Here's the kickoff. It was the first touchdown given up by the Bronco defense in 7 quarters. Off the hands of Zach Thomas, so the Broncos will start out at their 20. Bronco defense with big plays on Plunkett when he had a throw. Ignited that offensive team when it got the ball back on a punt. The Broncos went down and kicked a field goal, but the Raiders, as you see, go the distance, 80 yards, and they did it quickly.
A lot of big plays today by the Bronco defense, but they sure let the Raiders off the hook when they looked like they had Marcus stopped. They didn't get in to make the tackle, and he really set them up for that touchdown pass to Todd Christensen.
AFC West, a tough division after the San Diego. Actually, San Diego lost in Minnesota, but going into today's play, the AFC West was 10-2 against outside opposition. Fastball, it's on the numbers. John Elway delivers to Watson. Lester Hayes was covering. Lester, I take no prisoners, Hayes.
And one of the reasons that Elway was everyone's #1 pick was because of his release. He has just a rifle of an arm. I was talking to Butch Johnson. You'll see it here. When he decides to throw the football, watch. Zap. Now that's slow motion.
Yeah.
He's a great baseball player. Just a powerful arm, and he can throw it on a string. I think maybe the strongest arm I've ever seen on a quarterback.
Right now he moves him out with that throw to a 1st and 10 at the 31. Looking again, another quick timing pattern. Too much on it for the normally sure-handed Watson.
And maybe too much on that ball.
He can really gun.
He sure can. And sometimes a quarterback who is so strong will overpower
He did
a receiver. Looked like Watson may have taken his eyes off of that football at the last second. Looked like he was looking for running room rather than catching the ball first and then turning up the field.
So Elway throwing again on first down, brings up second down and 10. 7-3 Raiders, 9:14 to play first half. Winder gets an opening, gets popped. Nikel came across and got him, but he got good yardage. Bring up third and about 4.
Nikel, as we said, will be in that defensive setup when they feel that the emphasis is shifting to passing. He'll use a lot of 4-man line, 5, 6 defensive backs. They call it 5 defensive backs. That's pirate setup. 6 defensive backs. That's bandit. I mean, all those mean names for the defenses.
All ominous, as is the Raider defense, and it's now third down and 4. 2 set to the top of your screen. There's a wide receiver left. A lot of motion in different sets in this Dallas-type offensive Denver. Here's a strike. It's good for a first down. Butch Johnson, an old cowboy, coming back at the ball for an 8-yard gain and a first down.
Interesting that Reeves moved his team down the field first with the running game. Now has gone to the passing game with Elway. Butch Johnson has fit in beautifully into this scheme. He said it wasn't hard for me to do it. He said it was like going back to Dallas. Same kind of plays, the same terminology, same kind of game plan, the same schedule. He said the only thing I didn't do was put on a Dallas uniform again.
Dan Reeves, the Denver coach, 16 years in the Dallas organization as a player and a coach. No losing seasons in that time. Winder going wide and moving very well across is Jeff Barnes, number 56. Adds a little extra gusto.
How he draws. I don't think that was a roar of approval from these fans who thought that Howie was getting a little excessive there with Sammy Winder. That's the kind of play, by the way, that Ernest Jackson used effectively last week as the Chargers ran outside on this Raider defense. They had structured to work against Fouts in the passing game, and the Chargers able to hurt them on the outside sweep. But Winder not able to find any room on that play to the outside.
Winder running well. Look at that.
Well, they closed the gap, haven't they?
65 for Winder, all on the ground. You see the 2nd and 11. Winder looking, cutting back. Darts into the secondary and gets ahead for some yards. It'll bring up third and long, though. Third and about 6 or 7. Otis McKinney, an extra defensive back, made the knockdown. Clock running with 7:20 to play in the first half. 7-3 Raiders.
A little pushing and shoving going on down there as Matt Millen, Spike. He's a lineman playing linebacker for these Raiders. Very valuable member of that Raider defense. Boy, he is a fire plug. He's in the middle of most of the action down there. Calls the defenses as they're signaled in from the sideline. Deploys the troops.
Troops now have 2 wide receivers set left. Third down and a long 4. Blitz against Elway, and they'll get him back inside the 40. So the Broncos will have to punt the ball. Good days and bad today for quarterbacks. Marino of the Dolphins threw for 429 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Jeff Barnes, you see him delay just a little bit. He blows by to the inside. Does a good job of getting in. Freeman, the lineman there, looking out but not seeing Barnes in time, and Elway thought about rolling out of there. Too much pressure, knocked to the ground. They'll have to kick it away.
Nobody had a tougher day at quarterback today, Merlin, than Paul McDonald of Cleveland. He was sacked 11 times by Kansas City.
Oof.
1 shy of the record. Greg Pruitt is back deep for the Raiders. Norman, who's hit the ball very well his first 2 tries, booms it again. Long, high spiral. And again, Pruitt is forced to a fair catch inside his 10. Norman doing a big job. A 55-yarder, as you see, no return. So the Raiders, with a 4-point lead, have the ball, but deep in their own end when we come back. 7-3. Beautiful day. Merlin's been kind of mean out there, though.
A little bit of stomping and thumping going on out there, but this is the kind of day I always enjoy playing on. You can feel that fall in the air. In fact, we had snow on this field on Friday, but it's a perfect day today.
Temperature in the 70s. They had a lot of snow here 3 days ago. Broncos stuff the run, and now while we have a moment, let's go to NFL 84 in New York.
All right, Don, a couple of baseball notes. Don Mattingly went 4 for 5 today in the Yankees' regular season finale against the Tigers. He finishes at .343. Dave Winfield 1 for 4 with a walk. He's at .340. Mattingly is the American League batting champion and one of the rarest of baseball achievements in Texas today. Angels right-hander Mike Witt pitched a perfect game against the Rangers. Back to Denver.
Thank you, Bob. Interesting story. Mattingly, the lowest paid Yankee on a team that averages almost $500,000 a man, but he wins the title. Now the Raiders go to the run again. On second down and 10, they don't get much. Bronco defense stuffing it as Plunkett looking for some room to operate.
That big high kick that pinned the Raiders down deep in their own territory certainly has proved to be a good weapon as the defense comes right on and shuts them out on a couple of downs. It'll be 3rd and long. This is the kind of down you love defensively. You're almost free to go after that quarterback, turn it loose.
Broncos didn't give up much last week, and Raiders didn't get much their last time out running the ball against San Diego, normally a porous team against the run. Raiders only had 49 yards rushing Monday night, but Plunkett had a ton passing. And he's looking to throw now on 3rd and 9. Here's the rush. He stands in and he gets it out. The ball was tipped by Louis Wright, who's been doing good things like that for the Broncos for 10 years. Mr. Wright, they call him.
Louis was troubled by a number of injuries in the preseason. In fact, he's just rounding into shape.
That's Dennis Smith. Louis Wright was the guy who tipped the ball. Smith was right there to make the hit. He caught it, and he almost did.
There's Louis. Gosh, what an outstanding career he has had. All-Pro many times, Pro Bowl trips, and he's still, in many ways, the class of this Denver secondary.
Now Ray Guy is called on to exercise his considerable punting talent. He'll have to do it from his end zone. Broncos could get real good field position. Short had good a punt. Going to be tough to handle, though. Will Hyde does, and he sprints into the open field and gets down to the 35-yard line of the Raiders. So Guy doesn't hit it like he'd like to. A 37-yard punt and a 10-yard return. And the Broncos, trailing 7-3, will have good field position to start a drive when we come back to Mile High Stadium. Stay with us at halftime for the AFL Remembered on NFL 84. More on that in a moment as Watson comes out wide to the right. First down and 10 for the Broncos. They trail 7-3 in the second quarter. 4:50 to play in the half. Elway with a quick drop and a long ball. Watson's there. But Lester Hayes gets a hand down it at the last moment and puts his hands to his helmet, knowing he almost got burned.
Watson, one of the most athletic and artistic receivers in the NFL. Working one-on-one on Lester Hayes. He said, I don't think people have really been challenging these two corners. He said everybody just coasts outside with him. He's coasting there and then turns on the afterburner. But watch the adjustment to the ball. This is what makes a great receiver. Cutting right across Lester's heels and bouncing into Lester a little bit. I think if he'd have been able to touch that ball cleanly, he would have hung on to it.
I think that Lester's going to see that pattern coming at him again. Elway looking deep. Looks at Watson. He's covered. Now he throws a hard ball and it's intercepted. Coming down with the ball is Mike Haynes, and a penalty marker goes down as Haynes gets the ball back for the Raiders.
I think we got a clip on Jeff Barnes on that play, but Mike Haynes coming all the way across on that play, and that was a planned rollout to the right side. Elway getting a lot of time, but simply depending on the speed of that
his way.
Illegal block, number 56 on the run back.
Jeff Barnes it was, but the Raiders stop the drive and get the ball back, leading 7-3.
Let's take a quick peek at the play. You'll see Elway now rolling to his right. He goes back to try and pull the defensive line in, gets out, has all kinds of time to throw, and there's the rifle shot. Just a stretch. The 30th time that Mike Haynes has taken the ball away from the offense and said, hey, this belongs to me and my team, and the Raiders do indeed go on offense.
Terrific player and a terrific young man. Bright, he is good on the football field. Mike Haynes makes a Pro Bowl play to stop the drive, and now Plunkett looks for some. Big rush and action. Jackson gets it.
When Randy Gradishar left the Broncos at the end of last season. It was important that somebody step forward to take some of that responsibility, an additional piece of that leadership. Now, Jackson has been a leader on this team for the last 3 or 4 years, but that became even more important this year. He has been playing exceptional football. You saw it on that last play as he sacked Plunkett. That's the second sack for these Broncos today.
And it sets the Raiders back now. They have the second down, about 18 to go. Marcus Allen breaks the crust and gets ahead to the 23. Over 10 to go, though, for the first down for Los Angeles. Louis Wright came over quickly, made the tackle. The game clock winds down to 3:55 to play in the first half.
I think sometimes the best way to evaluate a running back, or certainly one of the better ways, is to see how much yardage they make after they're hit for the first time. Marcus Allen on that play hit right back at the line of scrimmage, still made about 4.5, 5 yards after the initial hit.
And the carry by Allen brings up a third down and 12. Raiders 2 for 5, converting third downs.
Plunkett doesn't like what he sees. Too much time.
He'll just have to throw a little deeper now.
Number 15, offense, third down.
Maybe we can figure out what was going on down there. Dalby is calling blocking signals for the offensive line. Plunkett, in the meantime, trying to get everybody going. He's trying to get that ball up. Plunkett does call his own plays in the huddle. One of the few quarterbacks left to do that.
You rarely see the Raiders looking confused, but that cost them 5, so it's third and about 18. Corners playing tight on the Raider wideouts. Plunkett throws a shot down to Todd Christensen, but it's going to be well short of a first down, and the Raiders will have to punt. Don Jackson.
Look at him coming off that field. You don't think he's pumped up? Look at him.
I tell you, he couldn't wait to start down that field, Merlin, before the game.
He is pumped. Great guy is not having a good day punting the football. They need a good punt. Stretch that field a little bit. Broncos eager to get their hands on it, see what the offense can do.
The guy's last one wasn't far, but the interception by Mike Haynes stopped the Bronco drive. Raiders leading 7-3. Will Hite back deep. Breakaway speed.
There it is.
He really nailed it. Will Hite signals for a fair catch back at the 17. Forced to do that by the good coverage of Jim Davis.
Not a good decision by Will Hite.
I don't think so. A 58-yard punt, no return. Broncos start out again as Jim Plunkett gets a rest. A tradition for generations, the dream of many. The culmination of the great American pastime. The 1984 World Series is coming up on NBC Sports. So gather the friends and family and join us as we proudly present the games dreams are made of, the 1984 World Series, starting October 9th on NBC Sports, where the memories are waiting. And of course the AFL remembered at halftime. A look today at the New York Jets and how they were built under Weave Eubank. Joe Willie Namath. A throw and a catch on first down out to the 24-yard line. Bob Nelson made the stop on Sammy Winder.
John Sawyer from that H-back position going across the field saw Millen coming up close to the line. He knew he was going to blitz, stopped, got a good piece of him. However, Millen's like a tank, kept right on coming and knocked him down. No huddle, are going right back at it.
2nd and 4. Broncos trailing 7-3. Another hard throw. First down as Elway is gunning those fastballs between defenders. This time he goes to his H-back John Sawyer. So with 2 minutes to play now in the first half, a timeout is signaled on the field. A Raider is attended to, Kenny King. Broncos have a 1st and 10 when we return to action.
I think watching that kind of message and looking across the field at Tom Flores, he certainly is someone we all can point with pride to in the NFL. Done a great job and really a quality man.
You don't see many people where their success as well as Tom Flores. Same guy he was when he was an assistant coach, now with 2 Super Bowl rings under his direction as the head coach of the Broncos, or the Raiders. And now John Elway fires a strike, and in open field for a moment is Watson. Lester Hayes, the Pro Bowler, having his troubles hanging on to Watson.
They're working one-on-one. A lot of bumping going on down there. That may go against the offensive man or against Hayes. Let's see if he calls it on Lester.
Holding, number 22.
No.
Decline.
No, they call it on Haynes. Mike Haynes called for holding. That's unusual. It's on Butch Johnson. Here it is right here. Just a nice big shove. Gets a piece of him there. Hooks him actually. Ends up laying on him. Now, you know, that kind of shot on the line of scrimmage, if he'd stayed in front of the man and stayed in that 5-yard area, would have been legal. He's allowed to maintain that good bump and contact, but did it from the backside and drew the penalty.
1:49 to go. First half as Elway takes a deep drop. Another strike, but Sawyer looking to run before he had the ball. So it brings up 2nd and 10 for the Broncos at the 46-yard line of Los Angeles.
Obviously, one of the matchups you'd like to get is someone with some speed and quickness on Matt Millen. They got Sawyer free, but Sawyer turned his head away. And here are the quarterback comparisons. Completions and yardage. Elway now has taken the lead in that area. You see the touchdown by Plunkett. Both, I believe, with 1 interception. Isn't that right so far?
1 each. The one for Denver early, catching a long ball. Then Mike Haynes made a spectacular running interception on a hard thrown ball. And here's Winder running the ball on 2nd and 10. Sammy Winder goes down, as does a penalty marker at the 40-yard line of the Los Angeles Raiders. Van McElroy, the free safety, made the stop for the Raiders.
A lot of contact over on the sideline between Lester Hayes and Steve Watson
against the Raiders.
And the flag was thrown at Lester Hayes. Hayes arguing the point. Here's the battle that's going on over there. I mentioned that Watson said he didn't feel it. Ooh, I'll tell you.
Holding, number 37, defense, automatic first down.
Looked to me like there was some action going on both sides of that confrontation. The official, however, called it on Lester Hayes, number 37.
Montana's thrown for 2 touchdowns as the 49ers lead Atlanta. Rams extend their lead over the Giants. San Diego leading Detroit 21-7.
Treacherous footing in this end of the field. They're in that skimmed area, Don.
Elway to Watson. It's another first down, and they whistle it dead at the 22, but it's a catch. Elway is really putting it on the numbers. Throwing it just too fast, I think, Merlin, for the Raider defenders to hit it.
Well, he's on target. Certainly doing a good job. There you see the very physical way that Watson is attacking that secondary. That's what he said he was going to do prior to the game. Good play. Now, if he is touched and pushed to the ground, he wants the timeout. Elway was trying to get another play going there. Reeves wants to have a little conference on the sideline.
Raiders, a team that pioneered the bump and run. Al Davis, he got it watching the great John Wooden UCLA basketball team's zone press defense. Bob and Ahmad, Bill and Axe standing by in New York with NFL 84, the scores and the stories of this 5th Sunday of play.
See the great defender Willie Brown over there talking to his defensive backs. There's Elway talking to Reeves. Reeves calls the plays. He does get some information down from upstairs, but he's the man. He wants to do that. Although he said when John Elway gets more experience, I'd like him to call the plays on the field. And I thought that's interesting. He feels that a quarterback can be more effective, can take advantage more quickly of what's happening on the field if he calls the plays on the field. But he said he's not quite ready for that. Uh-oh. Look at that.
Very costly loss for the moment, at least. Sammy Winder going off.
Steve Antonopoulos, the trainer for the Broncos, with the friendly shoulder there. But that is not good news because Winder has been such an important cog in the success of this Bronco offense in the first half. Wilhite has gone in his place.
First down and 10. You see Elway's numbers. 1:14 to play in the half. Denver trailing by 4. Elway with room to go. And wisely is saved by the 12th man, the sideline.
I think Elway has been told by his coach, you get out of bounds. Don't take that extra yard. It looked like he could have picked up another 1 or 2 without any problem. Goes out just shy of the first down. Second short. This is a giveaway down. Not a giveaway, a throwaway down. You can afford to do almost anything you want here and still have a very good chance to pick up the third and short if you don't make it here. Let's look for them going deep into the end zone, Don.
Broncos, though, Merlin, only have one timeout left. So with 1:07 to go, they have to use that judiciously, as at the moment they have, as you point out, second and very short inside the 15. He's looking at the end zone indeed. Now firing a strike. It's caught. Man lost his footing and came back. Butch
Johnson over there, and they're working on Lester Hayes. Big bad Butch. He takes Lester into the corner, loses his footing, but didn't lose sight of the football. Down inside of the 5-yard line. Denver down quickly. Now what's happening here? Player going to the sideline. 93, Greg Townsend, being sent out of the game for some reason. And he may have gotten ejected out of the game, but I don't see any walk-off of a penalty of any kind.
Our producer Larry Cirillo has just been in contact with Broncos bench. They've taping the right ankle of Sammy Winder went out with a turn. It's hoped that he'll be back. Our director today for NBC Sports, Ted Nathanson.
I see what it was. They said the phones had gone out on the Raiders side of the field. And they said to take off the headphones on this side of the field, the Broncos side. Now they're back on. I guess they're going to let them put them back on.
One timeout on the board for the Denver Broncos. Still have one on the scoreboard remaining. Here's a pitch back. Will Hite sprinting. And a big defensive play. Van McElroy, the free safety.
We got a fight down there. That's Kay again. Clarence Kay.
A writer here in Denver from the Denver Post helped fuel up this crowd. Man who professes not to like the Raiders said, get the women and children off the streets. Lock the houses. Watch the hubcaps. The Raiders are in town. They come in swinging.
Well, it's a very physical game down on the field. The Raiders play that game, losing their cool a little bit. Alzado again locked up in a battle with Kay. Here's the call.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 88, Denver. Number 53, Raiders. Penalty offset.
Rod Martin, actually the Raider ticketed for the foul. They call offsetting fouls, but with the loss on the play, he's second, about 8 yards into the end zone, and these are the toughest yards in football.
A lot less ground for the defense to cover. The Raiders dig in. 27 seconds to play in the first half. Raiders 7, Broncos 3. Elway, a timing pattern knocked away at the last moment by Lester Hayes. You're right, they really are going to work on Lester. A lot of the patterns have been down at him, then they come back at the ball after driving him deep.
Elway getting some heat. I think the man he wanted was Watson. They'd sent 2 people out to kind of block people, kind of shield for Watson. Watson tripped a little as he cut. If he had kept his feet, I think he'd have been wide open, and I think that's the man that Elway looked for first.
"21 seconds. There is the game clock on the scoreboard at Mile High Stadium. Will Hite, the lone setback, Winders out. This is the 11th play of this drive coming up. It's 3rd down and goal from inside the 10. All-out blitz. Elway gets it away. It's incomplete. He did well to save.
They're going to
the
call
out.
him in the grasp of the defenders. They'll bring it back and mark it at that spot. It will be a sack on Elway. That'll lengthen this field goal a little bit for Rich Carlos.
Carlos hit from 27 yards, and now Reeves.
Got a timeout. Yep. That clock ticking down. 17 seconds. They don't want to.
Last charge, timeout. Denver.
Raiders are probably happy with the call. Let Carlos think it over.
Well, I think right now the Raiders have to be pleased that they've kept the Broncos out of the end zone. The Broncos had really come down with an emotional surge, and two things have happened right here at the end of this first half. They've lost Sammy Winder, their #1 running threat, and he's in being taped, but unlikely, I think, that he will be able to perform effectively, if at all, in the second half. And they lost an opportunity to go ahead. The best they can do now is come out 7-6 out of the half here as they line up for the field goal.
And a reminder again, Merlin, the most popular sport in the world is coming to NBC Sports. Join us next Saturday as we begin the road to soccer's 1986 World Cup coming up on November 10th. Horse racing's biggest day, the $10 million day, the Breeders' Cup, here on NBC Sports. Right now, we have 17 seconds to play in the first half. Rich Carlos hit his only field goal attempt of the day earlier. Getting set now, it'll be from 32 yards out.
He hit earlier from 27.
Got plenty of that. Barefoot, he drives it through. So again, the Broncos are kept out of the end zone, but they do get points on a field goal. The Raiders' lead is cut to 1.
Barefoot kickers able to get that ball very high. Well, let's look ahead to the second half a little bit, Don, and let's just try and think with these two coaches and these two teams. A pretty even ball game so far in this half, but you still have the feeling that the Raiders have just been kind of coasting through this first half. Did come back after that field goal by the Broncos, packed it down the field, a long drive. The Broncos have had many more opportunities. They have not been able to go ahead in this first half, although they were able to get 2 field goals. And I think when you have a lot of chances at that end zone and you're only able to come away with 6 points, it's going to be frustrating for you.
Raiders long a second half club. Dan Reeves obviously feeling the pressure. A very, very big game for his franchise. If the Broncos should win this, they'd move into a first place tie.
Exactly right. And because it is an in-division game, it's like playing 2 games in one. There's the drive as you look at it. 12 plays, 67 yards. Elway doing an excellent job.
Boy, he has.
And one of the other things that
he's the real thing.
Yes, he has. One of the other things they're pointing to now is the fact that the Raiders' opponents don't seem to do well the following week. Last 3 have managed to lose after playing the Raiders.
There's a kickoff downfield, and again it'll carry into the end zone. Doki Williams, a sprinter from UCLA, is cautioned not to bring it up. Throwing water on Lyle Alzado.
The fans down there don't like Lyle Alzado, and they'll torment him from that sideline. There's a walkway down there close to the bench, behind the Raider bench there, and those fans down there are doing their best to abuse Lyle Alzado. Look at him.
He played here 7 years ago.
He did. He left under some unfortunate circumstances, and there was no love affair when he left. Before that, he was probably the most popular Denver Bronco in this town.
The year they went to the Super Bowl. Dave Casper of the Raiders, I was talking to him before the game, he says, Lyle gets so worked up that I call him 3 Mile Lyle because I'm afraid he'll melt down at any time. He's a competitor. He came here to the Raiders for an 8th round draft choice from Cleveland, and that inspired him. He said if that's all they thought I was worth.
We got him going down in there again. Greg Townsend, or not Greg Townsend, but Charlie Hanna didn't like what was
game for 14 years, and it's jammed today as the Raiders are in town. And now the second half kickoff. Carlos again drills it deep into the end zone, and Doki Williams will down the ball there. So it'll come out to the Raider 20. Los Angeles on offense. There's Sammy Winder, a key player. We pointed out earlier a man who has 40% of the total yardage on offense this season coming into this game for Denver.
And he had 47% of today's yardage, accounting for almost half of their yardage today. He couldn't even walk as he headed over there. I think that ankle is just locked up on him. I'm afraid he is out of the lineup in this second half. That is not good news for the Broncos.
Pressure on Gerald Wilhite, who great things were expected of when he came in as a #1 draft choice. He'll be playing for Winder in the second half. Plunkett with the offensive unit of the Los Angeles Raiders, and it's 14:53 to play in the third quarter. First play from scrimmage. Raiders leading the game 7-6. Loose ball, and Plunkett has to eat it. Halftime numbers break down as follows.
Ball snapped right past Plunkett's head and up into the air. Let's look at the statistics here. First downs favoring the Broncos. Total yardage favoring the Broncos here. Passing yardage, you see that? Passing stats anyway, and time of possession in favor of the Broncos. But the most important stat, as Al Davis might say, we got it by 1 point on the scoreboard, 7-6.
Talking about stats with Davis before the game, he said it's overplayed. He said you look for ways to beat your next opponent. You don't look about what they did against somebody else last week. Statistically, Todd Christensen takes a hard rap from Mecklenburg after the ball comes in and is off his fingertips. So it'll bring up third down now for LA.
Barney Chavis is down there and wants to get in a shoving match with Henry Lawrence. The two of them going at it pretty good. And coming out of that locker room, you've got to believe that the Broncos were trying to juice themselves up a little bit, trying to get fired up a little bit. First series of the second half very often sets the tempo for the second half.
Scoring breakdown, shut out both ways in the first quarter. Denver got on the board with a Carlos field goal, and the Raiders came back on a great throw from Plunkett to Christensen. Carlos kicking a field goal again just before the half, so it's 7-6, Los Angeles in the lead. Third down and 12 for the Raiders. Here's the rush. Plunkett just gets it away in time, and a fine defensive play by Jackson, and very nearly an interception. Randy Robbins, a rookie defender from Arizona.
I think Jackson was worried about it bouncing into the hands of one of the Raiders, reached up and slapped it away. Randy Robbins had his eyes on it. Here it is. Watch it for yourselves. The ball is knocked up. Randy Robbins reaching for it. Jackson swatting it away. Marcus Allen, the intended receiver. Guy drilled his last punt, but had a couple of mediocre ones prior to that.
Kicking them longer in Denver, they always do because of the mile-high altitude. And here is a kick, not that far. It'll come back. Wilhite has room to run. 40, 45, splits it. He could go. Guy's the last man, and Ray Guy gets him.
Sure, his eyes dilated as he saw Wilhite split those two defenders right here. Splits it with speed, just breaks it up the field, and there it is. Doesn't look like anybody can stop him, does it? Well, let's look at Ray Guy. Guy knows how to play this game, but look, he almost lost his feet. That's treacherous down there. Able to get his helmet in there and get a piece of Wilhite, or he'd have gone all the way.
44-yard punt, but Wilhite brought it back 31 yards.
Great field position.
First and 10 at the 27. First possession of the second half. A handoff to Rick Peros, and he's in open field. And Peros, on his first carry of the game, is down to the 8-yard line.
A big hole opened up. Over there on the left-hand side, it's a little draw play with a little fake to the right. They were able to pull the defenders, get them influenced there. Get a good break on the inside. Martin, number 53, one of the guys who missed on a tackle there, but that's a big, fast start here. Good field position, and now inside the 10.
First and goal from there. But a problem in the pass for the Broncos down close. They've been unable to score a touchdown, had to come away with field goals twice before.
3 tackles on the field for the Bronx.
Back to Peros. This time he's struck by Rod Martin. 53 came across to get him.
Broncos trying to utilize 3 tackles on that play, and I think they're hoping to confuse this Raider defense. You don't usually beat the Raiders by tricking them. You usually have to go into the trenches and slug it out with them. They don't make that many mistakes because they're not that complicated a team offensively and defensively. Second, 8 yards to go. There was no gain on that play.
Talk about the Raiders doing very little different week to week, but doing it all well. And right now they're lining up man to man as the Broncos go second and goal. Pitch back. Wilhite. He's down close, but not in. He's about the 2. Third down coming up.
I think the Raiders were thinking, as I was, that the Broncos might well come back with a pass on that 2nd and 8 situation. And that's Wilhite on the ground. Well, that's the last thing in the world you need. Let's look at Wilhite on that play. Makes a good run. Breaks inside the linebacker coming up.
Oh, he got it right in the head.
It's Jeff Barnes coming over. I believe he took a shot with the shoulder to the helmet and then maybe came down on the ball after the fact. This angle will give you a better look at the play. Look at the acceleration here. Coming inside the linebacker right there, Rod Martin. And there's the shot from McElroy coming across, number 26. He's still on the ground.
So this game of attrition and two very important players in trouble for Denver. Winder already out with an ankle sprain, and now Gerald Wilhite, who's played well, with a hard blow to the head. McElroy delivering a knockout tackle.
Reeves may be glad he's running a one offense setup the way his running backs are going down here. Wilhite is up. That's good news. Now there's Winder trying to run on the sideline. We figured his numbers might be called. We may have to see Paris in there, and it looks like Paris is the back. Yes, number 24 is in the lineup right now.
Randy Gradishar calling some of the defensive signals down for the Broncos when they have the defensive unit out right now, though they're trying to punch it in. 3rd and goal from 3 yards out. 9th play of this drive.
Run.
Elway heading for the end zone. He dives. He doesn't get there. There is a penalty marker down.
Ooh, that's dangerous too. Elway came down on his side. Elway saw the end of that end zone run, and we've got a fight down on the other side. They're scrambling on both sides. There goes the flag. Lanier, 76, and the official trying to keep him on the ground. Billy Bryant's got somebody pinned down there. That's dangerous when you got your helmet off. That's the last way in the world you want to walk into a fight. Alzado, a spectator. He doesn't get to spectate on many fights, does he?
He's looking at a peacemaker. They're not done yet.
Well, they got to get them separated down there.
Wants no part of that, so he got his back right away.
Cool there. Lanier is still hot, and he's got his helmet off. As I said, that's the last time you don't want to step in there and continue the action now. Nothing but an extra penalty for you, and maybe an ejection from the game.
Let's listen now.
We have 3 fouls on the play.
3.
We have a holding, number 56, defense. We have personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 76. He is out of the football game.
So Kenny Lanier is ejected from this football game.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 53, defense. All penalties offset. 3rd down again.
Oh.
Was that costly? Lanier following up in retribution.
Well, the first penalty would have given them a 1st down with half the yardage to the goal line. Very, very costly for the Broncos here. The offsetting penalties really working devilishly against the Broncos here. Let's see, they did make good yardage on the play, though. But do they lose that as well? I think they do. I think they're going to run the play over again.
They will be run over, offsetting, so they'll do it again. That would have been a 1st and goal from inside the 2-yard line for the Denver Broncos. Lanier, after the personal foul call against Rod Martin of the Raiders, Lanier follows up and he's ejected. Mark Cooper, a rookie, be coming in the game.
Several offensive linemen moving in and out. Winfred Hood has also been playing some tackle in there. Lanier and Wilhite both on the sideline, and the official coming over to explain to Reeves, I think, why Lanier was ejected and why the Raiders players were not ejected. And he's not going to accept that explanation.
Not what Dan Reeves was hoping to hear. Is offensive tackle Lanier is out. Inexperience goes in his stead now.
It's 3rd down on the 2.5.
Well, now apparently they're calling those. Well, I'll have to let them sort it out. I don't know what they've done down there. That's not the original line of scrimmage. No play. Okay. That is the original line. All right.
3rd down and goal from there. Power formation for the Broncos. They trail by 1. Swing pass. Peros diving, didn't get there. Teammate Billy Bishop tried to help him, but he couldn't throw him in.
That pass thrown in such a way that Peros kind of lost his balance. And there's the call from Reeves on the sideline that will send the field goal unit into the ball game. Here's the pass from Elway. Elway wanted to fake, but he's got a couple of backs out of there, a couple of new bodies in. The pass right here, a little slipping going on as Peros tries to go over the top.
Bishop tries to throw
Bishop
him in.
just picked him up I think he's strong enough to chuck him into the end zone.
But
Matt Millen came right over the top at the end of that play and may have injured himself. Now that would be a disastrous blow to the Raider defense.
field goal attempt here, like an extra point for Carlos. So he's good on 3 attempts, and it gives the Broncos the lead. They've not led since early in the second quarter when they put the first 3 points of the game up. It's now a 9-7 game. Denver's in the lead, but the Broncos have lost some key players.
It starts with a sudden.
Quickie with Merlin Olsen. There's Gerald Wilhite, who took a hard shot to the head as he got down close to the goal line. We're told that he'll be back shortly. He'll set out some more plays.
Wow.
Carlos, who just hit his 3rd field goal in as many tries, to give Denver the lead, kicks it off out of the end zone.
We got another fight out there. Rod Martin going at it out there with, well, I can't see who it is. He's pulled his jersey almost off. Don Summers, 85, tight end. They're banging each other around. This smacks of some of the old-time games between these two great rivals. They've been a little less hostile to each other over the past couple of years, in part because the Broncos have not been that competitive.
Right now, we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is KEVN TV7 Rapid City, KIVV TV5 Lead Deadwood.
Denver in the lead. 3rd quarter, 10:36 to play in it. Rocky Mountain Thunder starts up at 77,000. Start the foot stamping here at Mile High Stadium, and Plunkett throws. He's got Christensen wide open. Foley an angle on him and knocks him down, but a great gain for the Raiders. Christensen unhappy because he thought he'd go the distance. He did go 29, Merlin, and that gets the Raiders over the midfield stripe.
Most of his passes go for short yardage, but Christensen beating Dennis Smith across the middle and doing a good job of turning the corner. Dennis getting the wrong angle on him there. Play stopped right there by Foley, and Smith almost gets his legs torn up underneath him as Jim Ryan dove in there right at the end of that play.
It's amazing the winning players the Raiders get off the waiver wire. They got Jim Plunkett as a free agent. They got Todd Christensen, who caught it as a free agent. 1st and 10. Frank Hawkins going wide. Good pursuit, but Hawkins breaks a tackle and turns the corner. On a 1st and 10 carry, he's inside the 45-yard line of Denver.
And jawing going on. Charlie Hanna telling Foley that ball carrier was out of bounds when he hit him. This is the kind of game that I don't think I'd want to be an official for. Those guys trying to pour cold water on all those hot emotions down on the field. Steve Busick taking the call from the sideline defensively and relaying it into the rest of his teammates.
2nd down and 5. A fierce rivalry, and the fire's been fanned today. A long way to go. As on 2nd and 4, Plunkett. Strike to Marcus Allen. Open field, and Marcus Allen is down to the 26-yard line. Great moves in the open field, and Marcus Allen is ahead for a Raider 1st down. A 19-yard gain on the play. Dennis Smith finally caught him.
We've said several times that Marcus is perhaps more dangerous as a receiver than as a runner because he's already into the secondary. Look at him there avoiding those tackles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, the 5th man eventually bringing him down. He's just outside of the 25-yard line on the 26 with a 1st and 10.
First and 10 throw. Open. Branch. And he'd have been gone had not the defender stayed with him. The right corner, Mike Harden, held on.
Again, that's the matchup that they had hoped to exploit. They don't feel that Harden can cover the speed of a Cliff Branch. Look at Branch. He'll drive him deep. Harden does not have enough speed to play him tight. He's got to come up and try and limit the yardage there. That's the kind of play that the Raiders expected to be able to utilize today and have used effectively in this ball game.
This carefully crafted Raider passing game, Merlin's a lot like their 2-minute offense, coming down the field quickly.
Well, they have so many tools, and they just keep hammering on you. It's one of those teams that they've been described as a sledgehammer team. They just keep beating on you and beating on you and beating on you. Defensive line coach here in Denver, Stan Jones, said they have their size and their physical nature, and they come after you and hammer on you until they absolutely wear you down. And that's why I think they've been so effective in the second half during this season and certainly in the early running this year.
Raiders coming into the game with a 4-0 record. Denver 1 game behind in the tough AFC West. San Diego rebounding well, leading by a good margin. Seattle won today at Minnesota. The Seahawks go to 4-1.
Seahawks would love to see the Broncos win and throw it into a 3-way tie.
And off to Hawkins. You haven't heard a lot about Frank Hawkins, but as a collegiate at Nevada-Reno, number 27, gained enough yards to be 3rd all-time in NCAA rushing. The Gladiator on the back of it. I don't know if that's his helmet model or his nickname. 8:06 to go now. 3rd quarter. Raiders challenging. They trail by 2, 9-7. Plunkett goes out in the flat. Marcus Allen lost his footing cutting back at the ball.
This is excellent turf. This time of year, this is a good football field. But Marcus unable to keep his feet locked up. Just slid right out from underneath him. He has such great concentration, though, that he still got his eye on that football and was able to get his hands on it.
Chris Barr, he too a free agent, came in here in time for 2 Super Bowl wins with the Raiders. Getting ready. He's been tough this year kicking field goals, 6 of 7. 7:54 to play, 3rd quarter. Raiders trail by 2, but they're challenging now. Plunkett in trouble, fires, and the ball is off the hands of Malcolm Barnwell. And 3rd down and 10 arises.
Henry Lawrence giving a very emotional speech to the official about a late hit on Plunkett. Plunkett looked like he was going to run with that football, and I think the defender took him at his look and unloaded on him. You'll see it here. Watch the unusual passing style. Plunkett almost shot putting that ball. That's the shot. You didn't get to see it, but you saw the opening part of it there as a second defender unloaded on Plunkett. Marcus Allen, one of the people we plan to watch carefully today. 51 yards rushing, 36 receiving, 87 yards total offense in this ball game so far.
He gets it again. Marcus Allen not done till he's down to the 9-yard line, but well short of a 1st down. So the Raiders send their field goal unit out.
Rulon Jones saying, "Hey, I've got the football." I think they're going to sort it. They're going to sort it out back where Marcus went down initially, but it will be a 4th down situation. Raiders trying to cross up the Bronco defense, hit them with a run on an obvious passing situation, but we'll bring Chris Barr onto the field.
27-yarder. Chris Barr has had the finishing kick in a lot of games. He beat the Broncos in the closing seconds when it seemed that Denver had won last year at the LA Coliseum. Nobody plays beat the clock better than these Raiders, although we have a long way to go in this one. 7:20 to play, 3rd quarter. It's good. So the Raiders get their first field goal of the day, and they take the lead back. It is a 10-9 game. 7:13 to play. The Raiders came right back with a field goal of their own after Carlos had kicked the Denver Broncos into a lead. 9-7. Now it's 10-9 Raiders, and here's Chris Barr to kick it off. Gets it long and deep. High and deep, and down it is going to be by Gene Lang in the end zone. So it comes out on a touchback to the 20.
I think we may have an offsides.
Yep, we do.
There's a flag down. I think we may have an offsides. It looks like they'll have to kick it again. Before we let you get away from here, I think they're going to bring it back and make Barr kick it again, because I believe they were offsides on that play.
Offside, number 54, kicking team, re-kick.
Not a lot of kickoffs returned.
Darryl Bird, number 54, a little bit eager to get downfield, and every team in the league crowds that kicked ball. But the Raiders must have crowded it a little too far. There are the penalty yards for the day. A lot of penalties on the Raiders side, only one so far. A 9-yarder for the Broncos.
But the Broncos with a very critical penalty. Ken Lanier, their right tackle, went out of the game on a personal foul call. He'll not be back. And there's an inexperienced player in there for him. Mark Cooper and Winford Hood are the backups, but they haven't been around long.
We must not be including the plays that are offsetting, or the penalties that are offsetting, because it seems like there have been at least a couple of those. So there really should be more penalties listed than there are.
There's no question, Merlin, this game leads the league in fights. We've had about 8 of those.
We have. They've been short ones. One-rounders, all of them.
Rod Martin's been in the middle of most of them. He's still in there. He knows how to do it. So the ball is now set back to the 30-yard line, and Chris Barr will kick it again. Zach Thomas, Gene Lang are back deep. 2 yards deep, and here it comes. 10. Lang, well, they've been better off taking it on the first try, going to the 20, but who's to know? And now they come out 1st and 10 at their 17-yard line. So Barr goes off the field. The Raider defense comes out. Denver Broncos are ready to go, trailing by 10 with a long way to go. 6:50. I don't know if that's a would-be official or an inmate. We know his objective.
We certainly know that they won't let him on the field wearing that sign here in Bronco country. There's Sammy Winder. He's going to try and carry the ball again here in the second half, and there are the numbers. You can see that Allen has gone ahead in the total yardage race here. Let's see if Winder can get the job done, or if that ankle is too badly injured.
They're going to find out in a hurry. Winder turning upfield. He's a quick healer. Look at Sammy Winder. All the way out across the 30. He has a first down. 14 yards.
Well, let me tell you, adrenaline is a wonderful thing.
Maybe he can bottle that and sell it, whatever he takes.
Now, but look at him coming back. I've got to believe that it's going to be very difficult for him to continue to play on this play. But look how he pursues, or gets to the outside, breaks away from the pursuit. Good golly, that's a great play, but almost hobbling as he comes back to the huddle.
But he's staying in there. Sammy Sidewinder. Yeah, he's in trouble right now as he lines up deep in the I set. He's going to stay in and block as Elway throws off the run and makes the connection. On a first down play, it's ahead for about 4 yards. John Sawyer, the H-back, swinging out. Interesting conversation about the H-back with Dan Reeves yesterday. Really gives you a blocking advantage, he felt, Merlin.
Well, he likes a lot of things about it. Putting the big men on the big men gives him a chance to disguise things, as you see Wilhite going into the ball game for Winder. Sammy just unable to continue in there. But Reeves has learned a great deal about this formation. Used it about a third of the time last year. It's become the dominant formation for these Broncos this year.
Elway 12 for 22, 113 yards. 2nd and 6 here. They hold off the rush. He gets it down. Watson takes it. Big gainer out to the 48-yard line of the LA Raiders. 16-yard gain and a first down.
Well, Watson has backed up what he said prior to this game. He said, I don't think anybody has really challenged those two cornerbacks, and he's done it here today.
San Francisco on those 2 Montana TD passes still leads Atlanta 14-3 in the 4th quarter. Rams blowing out the Giants. Jeff Kemp just threw to David Hill. San Diego now holding to a narrow lead over Detroit. 24-21. Lions coming back there, and it's New Orleans 17-3 over Houston. Tampa Bay, as you see, leading the Green Bay Packers, who are having their troubles. Handoff up the middle. Wilhite, who went out with that after he was hit on a head-on tackle by Van McElroy, is back in the lineup and runs down to the 45. First down carry. It's good for 4.
Very physical game down on the line of scrimmage. In the pits, number 75, Howie Long, working right there on, well, who is that? That's not Lanier anymore. That's Hood, I believe. And there's Wilhite running right in behind, trying to get going there. Winfred Hood, 74, the tackle on that side.
Rookie from Georgia. 2nd down and 6 coming up for the Denver Broncos. 6 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. Broncos trail by 1. Wilhite really stung by Mike Haynes, but a first down carry, and the Broncos are down to the 35-yard line of Los Angeles.
Wilhite overcoming that slight concussion earlier. Watch the trap right there. Stutter doing a good job of knocking Rod Martin, 53, outside. Good solo tackle. Mike Haynes lifted Wilhite right up off the ground, but not until he had a first down. Rick Parros has gone in now. They're rotating those running backs, trying to keep them fresh in there.
They've all delivered. Parros carried once before for 16. Now he gets another call. There's a big hole, and Parros is ahead down to the 27 or 6-yard line before Mike Haynes again made the tackle. Keith Bishop, the left guard for the Broncos, with a big block.
Another one of those mountain boys from over there at Utah State. Put him in there and said, go to work. Well, and it's interesting here. We worried about the rushing game, and it's so important for these Broncos to be able to run the ball. We were concerned when Winder went down Peros has now run 3 times for 28 yards. That's better than a 9-yard average.
Peros went to Utah State, but he was born in Brooklyn. How did he find his way out there?
He got lost going somewhere, I guess.
He's not getting lost now. Weaving through the secondary of the Raiders. On a 2nd and 1 play, he's ahead for another. Denver Bronco first down. 10-9 the score. Raiders lead, but the Broncos are driving.
There's Peros. Starts into the left side, cuts it back. Boy, he did a great job of getting through traffic there. There's some good blocking going on the line of scrimmage. Studdard working on Alzado. Lanier is out of there. We got Hood on the other side. Paul Howard in there. Bryant, Keith Bishop, all doing a good job inside.
1st and 10. Elway goes to the draw, and Peros responds with more yardage, putting both arms on the ball. Those Raiders hunt the football when they come tackling.
Well, we talked about the battles on the line of scrimmage. Studdard working one-on-one on number 77, Lyle Alzado, and they faked the pass on Alzado and let him come in. Smartly designed play. Alzado reading pass, took himself out of it, but they have done what you have to do against this Raider team. You've got to go right at them. You've got to play the physical game with them because you're not going to beat them with tricks.
Second and 4. Pitch back Peros. They get blocks. And Peros works his way down close to the 6-yard line. Very close to a first down. Well executed offense. Great line blocking.
God, so far in this game, the Broncos have had 10 shots inside the 10-yard line and have failed to get a touchdown. They've got a first down now on the 6-yard line, or it looks like it might be a first down. They're going to measure it. They would like to get a 7-pointer. They haven't been able to do it. They have 3 field goals to show. Down by 1 point.
This is really some division, the AFC West. Last year, as you know, 3 teams in the AFC West went to the playoffs. Of course, 2 advanced to the conference championship game, the Raiders in Seattle, and the Raiders went on to bury Washington in the Super Bowl. After today's play, we could have 3, 4, and 1. Seattle is standing tall, so is San Diego. San Diego go to 3 and 2. Kansas City's already 3 and 2. The Broncos with a win here would send the Raiders to 4 and 1. They'd go to 4 and 1, but this is a long way from over, and the Raiders lead it right now. 10-9, 3rd quarter. 3:12 to play in it.
This is actually not a bad situation for the Broncos. They've got a chance to still pick up that first down and maybe get that ball even closer to that goal line where they'll be able to have 4 shots at it. See what they do here. They might try and go for the whole ball of wax right here.
Looks like he definitely has it.
Will Height must have been watching Marcus Allen last week as he was diving over the top. Watch him dive in behind Studdard on the left side and go after Alzado over there, up and over the top for a first down just outside of the 4-yard line. There they are, first downs for the game. Very, very one-sided. The Raiders really have only had those 2 drives, scoring drives of any length in this ball game.
Reeves and Flores tense on the sidelines. Broncos challenging, trailing the Raiders by 1. Will Height takes it in. He was hit, shot on by. Touchdown Broncos. First of the day for Denver. What a game.
Will Height looked like a submarine going in on that play. He literally goes in underneath. 7 times he's run for 24 yards, but that was spectacular as he slides in underneath for the touchdown.
15-10 the count now, and Denver can extend the lead to 6 points. Harless does. So the Broncos with their first touchdown of the day coming with 2 minutes and 19 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. Come back to take the lead again. It's a 16-10 game. That Horse Crusher's getting some action today.
Crusher.
Gerald Wilhite just got into the end zone for the Denver Broncos as they rally from behind, and they've now taken a 16-10 lead over the Raiders. And here's Carlos with the kickoff. He's not big, but he unloads. Doki Williams can't even make a play on the ball.
We got another fight on the field.
Absolutely.
Oh, they don't quit down there.
Rod Martin once again.
Come on, Martin at it this time. And this is where the crowd comes into play. They're hot here in Denver.
And it could get hotter. We'll be back right after this. With Wilson down Cricky back at Mile High Stadium. Merlin, you said at the outset the Broncos had a run. If they were to win, they've been running.
They certainly have, and they've done it in the second half without Sammy Winder. Barrows and Wilhite doing a great job. The Raiders only give up an average of 115 per game, and you saw what they've given up already in this ballgame.
Raider corners are challenging the wideouts for the Denver corners, and here is Eddie King turning wide and getting out across the 25-yard line. Raiders really jamming the front. They're not giving any of those Raider people room to run.
Kenny King showing good speed, though, able to outrun the pursuit. We do have a flag way out on the sideline, and it's going to go against the Los Angeles Raiders. And that
Holding number 46. First down.
Holding against Todd Christensen, number 46. Maybe one of the reasons they were able to outrun the pursuit. Somebody had a hold of one of the defenders there.
First down and a long way to go. First and 20. The pitch back goes to Marcus Allen. Nothing there. Marcus goes down at the 10-yard line. Ryan sweeps him under. Jim Ryan, outside linebacker for the Broncos.
I don't know who the scriptwriter is for these Raider games, but they sure seem to have it coming down to exciting finishes. There's Joe Collier, the dean of defensive coaches around the league. Said I started at the beginning of the start of the season. I didn't think we'd be as good as we are right now. In essence, we're coming on faster than we thought.
It came on today. Collier's been through 4 head coaches here in Denver as the defensive coordinator. They don't let him get away when a new coach comes in. Good catch by Hawker by Kenny King, but the Bronco linebackers come up to make the knockdown inside the 20 and way short of a first down.
Well, these defensive players certainly have done a good job of carrying out his philosophy. You know, he's one of only 5 of the original coaches of the old AFL who are still active in the league, and the only one who has been with just AFL or AFC teams that whole time. So he really has paid his dues.
Denver defense, a continuing success story. The Orange Crush. So in unison, swarming to the ball, relentless in their pursuit. Those are the keys. Now it's third down and 12, so Plunkett has to look long. He gets it away long. Malcolm Barnwell is out there, and Malcolm Barnwell has the ball as the Raiders come up with a home run play. Third and 12, and Plunkett delivers long. Steve Wilson was beaten on a perfect throw by Plunkett to sprinter Malcolm Barnwell.
6 defensive backs in on the play. You know the Raiders have to go deep, and they do it anyway. Jim Plunkett. Well, how many times have we seen him do this? They say we just find a way to win. Well, they haven't won yet, but they certainly won that battle on the line of scrimmage. Third and very, very long. They make the big strike for 48 yards and a first down.
Virtually every wide receiver the Raiders have with them was a state high school sprint champion. Unless you've got the DP, you don't play for the Raiders, and that was one of their biggest plays. As the third quarter draws to a close. Raiders 10, and we'll be back as the Los Angeles Raiders behind and ahead. Now behind 16-10 are driving. They just hit a big third down play. Plunkett and Malcolm Barnwell. It's first and 10 Raiders. 34-yard line of Denver. Marcus Allen looking to throw. Now forced to run, and he's knocked down for a 2-yard loss. Steve Foley, the safety, came up, closed down, and made the knockdown.
Talked about the triple threat of Marcus Allen. Todd Christensen was wide open, and Allen just did not see him. He looked deep. He's looking deep. Now he's got to run. You see it gets away from 2 or 3 people and makes back about 4 or 5 yards, but still lost about 1.5 yards, 2 yards on the play.
San Francisco continues to lead Atlanta 14-3. Candlestick Park in San Francisco well into the fourth quarter. Rams hold to their 28-6 lead over the Giants. Second down and 12 coming up Raiders. Early in the fourth quarter, home run ball again. Louis Wright comes down with the ball, but he caught it out of bounds. Is that an athlete?
Just a great play. When you're on a receiver man-to-man, you've got to take your cue from him when the ball is going to arrive. Plunkett gets this ball on target, but watch Louis Wright right at the last second. Watch him go up into the air, turn in the air, came down with 1 foot on the line. Marcus Allen, well, we said a triple threat. Well, here's a fourth as he blocks on Steve Busick, leading tackler of this Denver Bronco defense. Third and long. Big down.
They're jamming Malcolm Barnwell down low. He's been the deep speed lately. Plunkett stands in, throws. He's got Marcus Allen, but the Denver defense again, with that swarm to the football, makes the knockdown way short of a first down.
Randy Robbins, 48. 6 defensive backs in there. Let's follow Marcus all the way through on this play. Gets open. Now what they're hoping is that he can get the extra yardage with his running ability. Good open field tackle right there. He's looking for somebody to toss that ball to. All they could see was orange shirts. Right now, Tom Flores is not terribly thrilled with what he is seeing as he sends Chris Barr out for a long field goal. And no one has made a field goal out of that dirt area at all during this season, let alone a 50-yarder.
Good point. Tough footing. He hits it hard, though. He gets it. Line drive by Chris Barr.
Wow. Well, they say
good
records are made to be broken, and he popped that right through, but no one had been successful from the dirt area of that infield during this entire season.
This would have been good from 60.
Chris Barr showing a real power, taking advantage of the altitude here in Denver, and Mark Wilson and Barr and the rest of his teammates celebrate on the sidelines.
Raiders should keep your attention.
They certainly do. You don't want to go to sleep up here. You're going to miss the action down on the field. And I'll tell you, it's amazing to me. I don't know who the script writer is for these Raiders, but they do manage to keep us in the ball game.
Barr hits it downfield on the kickoff, and it's taken. No, it's not. Jack Thomas can't field it, and so it comes right back to the 20. Broncos start out. Here's Jim Plunkett with a quote.
Well, I think he says it well. It's become a Raider tradition. We just hope we don't have to do it every week. Well, Jim, I hate to tell you this. Here we go again.
They once took a man on the street survey in Oakland when the Raiders were up there asking people, what do you like best about Raider football? One guy had maybe the best answer. He said, what do I like best about Raider football? The last 2 minutes.
Oh, boy. They typify the attitude, too, of Al Davis, what he said to you earlier. He said it doesn't matter what the stats are. We'll just try and find a way to win.
Wilhite has a problem and a hard hit put on him by Matt Millen coming up.
I think Wilhite may have blown the play. It looked like Elway expected Wilhite to be coming to his left as they face the line of scrimmage, and Wilhite just a little late getting off into that play. Looking at Reeves on the sideline. Here it is. Look at him right there. He's expecting the toss to go off to that side. Wilhite had started the other way and came back. A good adjustment by Elway. If he just flips that ball, that'd be a fumble, and you'd have a lot of people scrambling for it.
Second down and 7 for the Broncos. They lead by 3 in the fourth quarter. Elway running out of trouble. There's a penalty marker down, though, as he slides in. Could all come back on a hold. Matt Millen with a little bit late hit.
I think we've got a penalty on Lester Hayes again. I don't know what it is, but thrown right at his feet as he went to work on Clint Sampson, number 84.
We're going to get a name and number here.
Illegal use of the hands. Number 37, defense.
Did you hear Lester? He said, I didn't do it. Lester's not happy, but I don't know what the numbers are in the penalties called today. Just huge mark-off numbers against the Raiders.
Lester, a 4-time Pro Bowler 4 years in a row, is figured in the Denver game plan, though they've been going at him.
Penalties, 7 Raider penalties, 45 yards, 1 Denver penalty for 9 yards, but that does not count the ones that went both ways.
Bronco offense really up to speed. Last 3 possessions with scores to come from behind. Here's Wilhite on first down, sprinting ahead. He's out close to the 39-yard line. Van McElroy, the free safety, again coming up to make the tackle for the Raiders. Game clock ticking. 12 minutes and 7 seconds left to play.
Very important now, Don, to control the clock as well as the football. And you do that with the running game and also with short, high percentage passes. Let's see what Dan Reese has up his sleeve here.
He talked about how much more comfortable Elway is running an offense, and that's very evident. Demonstrating great confidence running this offense. Pitch back to Peros. Big play by the Raiders. Shooting the gap and coming up was Reggie Kinlaw, the middle guard. Undersized. He wasn't drafted till about the 11th round out of Oklahoma. But he has been a tremendous player for the Raiders.
Got a great body build, a good technique, and they're not really as big as a lot of the nose tackles around the league. But when you're quick, when you're agile, and when you're hungry to make a tackle, you make that kind of plays.
They've been talking playoffs in New York over the Giants. That'll be on hold for a week.
Looks like they got those field goalposts back together.
Goalposts wilted in the heat. Here's Elway, third down, a throw and a catch, and he lost it. Sampson had his hands on the ball. Elway was right there with it. Checking the scoreboard. San Diego continues to hold to a 3-point lead over Detroit. Washington with a 20-0 rout of the Eagles going on. Houston's on the board, but the Oilers look like they're going to 0-5, trailing New Orleans in the 4th quarter. Green Bay rallied from behind to take Tampa Bay, take the lead 20-17.
Get an idea of the Raider strategy here. You got to ask the question, are they going to try and rush this punt?
He's punted well. Chris Norman, the rookie. Averaging 45 a boot. Threw it as back deep as a single safety.
I think they were coming. They had several people inside, but he got it off nicely.
Great punt. Picked up by Pruitt, loses his footing and goes down inside the 20. 10:43 to play. The Raiders trail by 3 points, and they have the ball. A 45-yard punt again. No Raider return. Will be. What a day for thoroughbred racing fans. The Sport of Kings with a King's ransom on the line. $10 million. 7 horse races. November 10th on NBC Sports. The Breeders' Cup. The best in the world will be at Hollywood Park. Handoff. Marcus Allen running hard on first down. Gets to the 25-yard line.
Don, this is where the confidence of a veteran team comes into its play. You're 81 yards when you start away from that goal line, but they've been able to drive the ball long today. They went 80 yards for their first touchdown. They went 70 yards for their field goal, 48 yards for their next field goal.
Come on, Jim! Come on, Jim!
You get the feeling of what it's taking out of these players. Look at this sweat and perspiration dripping off the face of Lester Hayes. You hear the encouragement for Jim Plunkett, his quarterback, on the field. Get it going, Jim. Bring him down. Get it done.
Jim likes this down. 2nd and 4 has a lot of options. He's going to put it up. Over the middle, Christensen's open. It's a first down for the Raiders out to the 37-yard line. Next Sunday, an NFL doubleheader on NBC Sports. Start the day at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL 84 and host Bob Costas. Then great NFL action begins. In our first game, some of you will see Dan Marino had one of his great days today, leading the Dolphins to their 5th win in a row as the Dolphins go against the Steelers at Pittsburgh. Then in the second half of the doubleheader, some of you will see the Seattle Seahawks take on the world champion LA Raiders from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Next Sunday, an NBC Sports doubleheader. Marcus Allen on first down, working hard for the tough yards into the gut of the Denver defense, gets to the 42-yard line. Busick knocked him down. This telecast, Merlin, presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience, and any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Denver Broncos and the National Football League is prohibited. Field goal would lock it up. We might not be done at the end of 4 quarters. We'll be looking at OT. 8:45 to play. Raiders trail by 3. 2nd and 5. Blitz gets it away. The ball is caught by Cliff Branch. And the Raiders cross midfield and go down to the 41-yard line of Denver.
Cliff Branch, veteran, many years in All-Pro, knows how to get those 2 feet down inside. Dennis Smith, 49, the man covering him, but Branch just had too much speed. Smith has good speed, but not as much quickness as Cliff Branch, and Branch used that quickness to beat him there.
Boy's been doing a long time, too.
He sure has. Making some ground up on Freddie Belitko.
13 years in the league and still a deep threat. They're playing way off him. He's deployed left. Barnwell on the right. Plunkett taking a look. Here's the rush. He escapes it. He got his arm as he was coming forward. Fortunately, he's all right. Careers have ended with that.
I think he short-armed that one. I'm not sure he got hit. I think he may have pulled that one down knowing that he didn't want to get it intercepted. One of the things the Raiders are facing here in this final quarter, they are driving into the dirt end of this field. It's a lot tougher to go down in there and score. So they're facing not only an inspired defense. As we look at the arm here, let's see if he pulled it down. I think he pulled it down. He may have been touched right at the end, but I think he pulled it down. You saw the coverage back there. He just didn't want to have that ball intercepted.
Somebody got Bob Greasy's arm going forward like that, and that was the end of his pitching arm. 8:33 to play. 2nd down and 10. Here's the blitz. He gets it away, but Marcus Allen can't hold on. Looked like Plunkett was caught, then he released it. Looked like it was going to be a big gain for the Raiders. Comes up empty, though. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Big pressure inside. Rulon Jones, one of the men in there, along with Reuben Carter, 68. But you notice Plunkett has an unusual ability. He is not a highly mobile quarterback, but he knows how to step 1 step left, 1 step right, and has a way of getting that ball off. Came within a fraction of getting that ball into the hands of Marcus Allen, and Marcus had room to run had he been able to hang on to it.
Last week, the Bronco defense shut out Kansas City on 3rd down conversions. They were 0 for 13. The Raiders with 3rd and 10 coming up are 3 for 10 on 3rd down today. From the 41-yard line of Denver. Long ball. Good coverage. Harden has the ball for the Denver Broncos.
Oh, no. Don't do it. They're going to have him run it out of there.
I don't think anybody's blowing a whistle. It's live.
No whistle yet.
He rolled him to sleep.
No one touched him. When he was down, he can get up and run. Harden initially thought that they would get it out on the 20-yard line, but he took the ball so far out in the field of play that the officials, I think, would have marked it at about the 4-yard line, or maybe even called a safety here. Watch it right here. Catches the ball on the 7-yard line, goes into the end zone under his own power. Now he kneels down. Now if he'd have been touched right there, you've got a totally different situation. No one touched him, and here he comes out into the field of play.
Woo! So Harden, another big play. The Broncos have it back. Let's watch again, Merlin. It now has been ruled a touchback.
Well, they made a change on the ruling. They're huddled down there trying to decide whether they've done the right thing. Harden goes down to his knee, touches the ball down. Now, he hasn't been touched by any of the defenders. The official has not declared the ball dead.
Nope.
He gets up, runs out of the end zone, and it appeared that they were going to give him his forward progress. Now the officials are huddled on the sideline. Mike Davis standing about 5 yards away, waiting for some kind of official word. But I imagine they'll come out of that huddle and give us some kind of ruling on the play. I don't think they can declare that a touchback. He ran into the end zone under his own power from about the 7-yard line.
That's the deciding point. If his momentum on the interception had carried him into the end zone, then it's a touchback. But he took about 3 or 4 definite strides back down the ball. One of the officials waved, keep it going. It's live. So now the ruling, it's a touchback, and the ball's coming out to the 20.
Well, whatever the play was, it certainly didn't work well for Jim Plunkett, who has his 2nd interception of the day into the hands of the Denver Bronco defense. Clock ticking away with 8:13 to go. And certainly the clock becomes an enemy for the Raiders now. They need to get their hands back on the football. Well, they're going to tell us now what exactly happened. Maybe
I'm waiting to hear.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Well,
you go figure it out.
Maybe they're as confused as we are.
But at any rate, it is the Denver Broncos ball. They have a 3-point lead. Fourth quarter, 8:12 to play in the game. Gerald Wilhite running east and west and then turning upfield and getting out across the 25 to the 27. Matt Millen took him down, but Wilhite runs well again behind the right side blockers. Howard and Bishop, the two guards, were out in front.
Millen over there again. He's made some key plays. Looked like he was going to be lost as he was hobbled on the sidelines after that one of those touchdown plays. The Broncos, one of the big plays on the sideline.
See the game clock winding down. New Orleans sends Houston to an 0-5 start with a win today at the Astrodome. 27-10. Second and short yardage. Back to Wilhite. Rocketing through. He has a first down as he crosses the 30-yard line. Howie Long knocked him down. How good was Howie Long at Villanova? When he left school, they dropped football. They're going to bring it back now a few years later.
Wilhite, who's gone in relief of Sammy Winder, is now 10 carries, 45 yards, and 1 TD. And the Broncos continue to run the ball effectively. Offensive line still doing a job of hammering, and they're getting good second down position. I mean, that's the killer for a team when you're second and long all the time. Today, with a good running game, they've been able to throw good second and shorts, have some good options for the quarterback, and Dan Reeves on the sideline.
Option now for John Elway, a 1st and 10. This is what he was looking for, and again that bad footing as he dived to get some lost yardage back, not much.
Looked like a confusion again on the play. I don't know whether Elway was confused or Wilhite was confused. Elway turns around expecting to see one thing, and again it's Wilhite going one way and Elway expecting him to go the other way. Now maybe that's just a matter of Wilhite not expecting to be in this ball game that much, and he might not have done his homework. Or maybe it's Elway. Kind of hard to. We won't put that stick on Wilhite without knowing who's at fault there.
So far, these Broncos have to like the end product. They have the ball in the lead with 6:36 to play. Long down now for John Elway as you see 2nd and 12. Wilhite. Good defense by the Raiders, and the knockdown is made at the line of scrimmage, so it'll be 3rd down and 12.
And again, that skinned area of the field taking its toll. Almost impossible to get a good cut over there and head back upfield. But Wilhite would have had trouble anyway. About 4 white jerseys over there waiting for him on the corner.
Otis McKinney and Van McElroy led the sweep across on the Raider defense. 3rd and long. Over 12 yards where they spot the ball. Watson comes right, so does Butch Johnson. He's in a slot.
Critical down for the Broncos. Critical down.
Watch these Raiders tee off and come. Elway lets it go long. Underthrown.
Elway getting tremendous pressure from number 75, Howie Long. He just gone right over the top of Hood, Winford Hood, number 74. He had to get that ball out of there. Just dumped it deep, I think. I think maybe somebody had a handful of Howie's jersey today.
John Elway, I think he was looking at a different pattern than what came up on the screen.
Still some confusion for him. He's learned a great deal. He's a lot more comfortable on the field, but doesn't have all the answers yet. I think will yet be a great quarterback here for these Broncos.
Chris Norman's done a big job, and he's called on to do one again as Pruitt is back. Raiders trailing by 3 with 5:42 to play in the game. 16-13 Denver. Norman hits a high knuckleball, but Pruitt will bring it back from his 23. Coming up to get him on the play was Keith Bishop, number 54, a 48-yard punt and an 11-yard return, and now the Raiders send out that offensive unit looking to get back in it. Winningest team in all of professional sports. They like to promote, and certainly with good reason, since the Al Davis era in '63.
And I don't think we know of a team that has a better record of coming from behind to win.
Jim Plunkett on 1st and 10. Throws hard. Marcus Allen catches it. He's ahead for a gain of about 5 yards. Jim Ryan coming up quickly. Linebackers taking that deep drop and then moving on the throw.
And even though they'll start this series just outside of the 35-yard line. It's the best field position they've had since the second drive of this game. So they have been pinned down. They've had a lot of green. Let's see what they can do. We're getting down to where these seconds are getting more important. 5 minutes, 4:59, 4:58.
Broncos have not defeated the Raiders home or away since '81. Plunkett throwing long. Christensen going for the ball, but the one-hand try comes up empty. So close.
You double the money back. You double the money man in this situation. They've got two men camped on Todd Christensen on this play. You see him coming out. He's getting bumped. Goes across the field. Dennison right there. And Dennis Smith coming in from behind. But Christensen went up. Bobbled that ball with one hand. Looked like he might have had a chance to control it. But it couldn't come down with it. 3rd and 5. Ooh. The Raiders need a big break here. Need a big shot here.
3rd down and 5 for Los Angeles.
It'll be hard to hear the signals. This crowd is roaring.
Free ball. Oh, a couple of Broncos ran into each other. They would have intercepted, quite possibly. Malcolm Barnwell a little bit behind him, and now the Raiders have to punt it back to Denver with 4:41 to play.
It looked like Barnwell was open. The pass bounces off his fingertips, thrown behind him. Couldn't tell whether it was to Barnwell or to Marcus Allen. I think it was to Barnwell, but the ball thrown so far behind him, he had no chance, tipped it, and as you said, was almost intercepted.
Good second look. Our producer for NBC Sports, Larry Cirillo, our director, Ted Nathanson, as we come down the stretch now. 4:41 to play. Ray Guy hits a good punt downfield, and he angles it well, and Wilhite will not get a return. Angle out of bounds inside the 20. So Ray Guy, all pro that he's been so many times, hits a big punt to pin the Broncos back.
50 yards on that punt. Ooh, 47 yards final count.
The pinnacle of baseball, the 1984 World Series, starts on NBC Sports October 9th. Playoffs begin Tuesday, and then the final two. The World Series, where the memories are waiting, coming up October 9th on NBC Sports. Right now, John Elway hoping a first victory over the Raiders in his reign as Denver Bronco quarterback. He came so close last year, leading Denver to a win over the Raiders at Los Angeles, but Barr hit one in the closing seconds to win it.
Here in the crucial seconds of this last quarter, it's important for the Broncos to control the ball and eat up the clock. The Raiders are thinking big play, turnover.
1st and 10, needing to move the chain markers and to get first downs as they look to run the clock. Wilhite doesn't get much. Got a load of Rod Martin, number 53. So the Broncos huddle at their leisure. Gerald Wilhite has done a big job. Has returned 3 kicks for 53 yards. He's run the ball 11 times for 48 yards. Scored a touchdown from that in-close run. 101 total offense yards and a touchdown. 16-13. Broncos with the ball and the lead. 3:55 to play. 2nd down and about 6.
Yes.
Look at that play. Again, Lester Hayes is victimized. Elway gutted it on the run. Immediately following football coverage, we will join the Silver Spoons program in progress. In addition, our remaining NBC Network evening programs will also be seen over most of these stations, except for Pacific time zone stations, where the programs will be seen at their regular times.
That play made possible by the great strength of Elway's arms. 16-13. We're down to the final counts in this game. 1st and 10 for Elway.
So they move the chain markers. Broncos leading by 3. 3:10 to play. Raider defense digging in and hungry, looking for the ball. Wilhite sprints off the left side. Studdard and Bishop, and a good block by the center, Bryant. Angle out, and gain is ahead for about 4 yards.
We started this game talking about the running attack of the Broncos, that it was the key to the game for them. We thought it would be Sammy Winder. Winder was hurt just before the half. Wilhite came in. Rick Peros came in. The success of this running game of the Broncos has been the difference so far in the game. And if they can continue to succeed with it, they can go out of this stadium with a victory this evening.
Second down and 5, and the carry is short of the first down, but there's yards, and it's close. See where they spot it. Wilhite keeps on to truck it. And the game clock's going to wind down to the 2-minute warning. Well, they're standing in salute for the Denver Broncos here at Mile High Stadium.
The numbers at the end of this game will belong to the runners. Winder, Wilhite, Peros.
2 minutes to play, and now here comes another one of those fantastic finishes.
Alcoa presents fantastic.
That's for sure, but the Raiders have a problem right now with 2 minutes to play. Denver has the ball in a 3-point lead line, which has sprung a lot of rushing yards from 3 different backs. Winder started out, injured an ankle. Wilhite's come in to do a big job. Gerald Wilhite, 2 hands on the ball. He's not going to give it up, and he's out to the 47-yard line. And again, the safety McElroy stopped him.
Let's hand out some accolades to that offensive line down in the pits. They're doing a great job for the Broncos. The running attack has gone in behind Studdard and Bishop and Brian Howard. Earlier, Lanier, he went out of the game. Since that time, Whitford Hood has been in there, but they have controlled the Raiders in the pits, on the line of scrimmage. That's where they've been successful, and the score on the board will show it.
Right now, a timeout on the field with 1:48 left to play in the game. Broncos looking to move into a first-place tie with the Raiders if they win, and Seattle will also be on top with a 4-1 record. They were a victor today. Ken Lanier, the starting right tackle for the Broncos, played that big game until he was ejected for fighting. Combat's kind of settled down. We haven't had any of those for a while, Merlin.
Certainly haven't. Look at the rushing yardage. The Raiders with 70. The Broncos now over 200 yards rushing in this game. Sammy Winder, 91 yards. They came in the first half. In the second half, Wilhite has 66, Peros 45, and Elway has run for 11. There's the scoring by quarter for the Raiders in '84, and look what they've done in the second half. But it looks like they will come short today unless they can get a minor miracle and wrench that football away from the Denver Broncos.
You haven't got these guys, though, till the gun sounds and you're running off with the game ball. Second down, short yardage. The knockdown is made short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and less than a yard, and the Raiders signal for and are quickly allotted another timeout. Stop the clock with 1:43 to play.
There is a lot of mashing and crunching going on down there.
The Raiders, though, over the years, as everyone who follows this game knows, are an absolutely astounding group. When the heat's on, seemingly they're gone. Time and again they come back.
Don, it's interesting. Never in their history have they won their first 5 ball games. They do have the first down, and that might be enough to do it. It looks like they're not going to win their 5th in a row here. They've started out with 4 victories on a number of occasions. They never have won the 5th.
So the timeout was an official one. Millen signaled for one, but they called out the chain marker, so the Raiders still have 2 timeouts left. Well, the clock has started up again after the measurement. It's down to 1:30, and the Broncos are in no hurry. This is always a big game day when the Broncos take the field. Playoff atmosphere when the Raiders are in town. There's going to be a celebration in Denver tonight, if the Broncos get there. Pitch back to Wilhite. Hard stick by Piquel, but he holds on, does Gerald Wilhite. Raiders have 2 timeouts remaining.
They just called one down on the field as Peros comes back.
1 left.
Wilhite comes back after that hard hit. And of course, right now, the Broncos on the sideline, and their thought is if we can hang on to that 3-point victory, we're tied for first place in the division. 4-1, and listen to these fans roar their approval in Denver.
Waiting a long time for this in Denver. Next week, the Raiders go back to the Coliseum to play Seattle, a team that'll be tied with them for first place if the score holds up. John Elway and the Broncos head to Motown. They'll be taking on the Lions at Pontiac, Michigan next Sunday. Very important item, the timeouts. You know the Broncos aren't going to be calling any.
Interesting stat. I mentioned that the Raiders have made some starts at 4-0, but never 5-0. In 1977, one of those years, it was the Broncos who handed the Raiders their first loss of that season as well. So history repeating itself here again in 1984.
Second down and 6 for the Denver Broncos. Wilhite should be the man again. Gerald Wilhite, 2 hands on the ball. He knows what the Raiders are after. Gain of only a yard. The Raiders quickly signal for and are allotted their final timeout. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 5.
Still a lot of time on the clock, 1:05. Other finals winding down around the league as you see that San Francisco has knocked off the Falcons 14-5. A safety in that ball game, obviously.
Montana came back after the rib injury, threw for both 49er touchdowns.
Denver talking about how they're going to control this ball. They realize that there's quite a bit of time on the clock, and even though the Raiders do not have a timeout, they would love to get a first down here on this particular 3rd down situation with about, well, a little over 5 yards to go. They're trying to decide on something worthwhile, and Plunkett would love to have one more chance to trot out on that field.
You saw them both at the outset, the 2 Stanford grads, All-Americans, the longtime veteran and the upstart John Elway rising in the league. Rams unloading on the Giants today at Anaheim, California. Still in the 4th quarter. San Diego looking to go 3-2. Continues to lead the Lions by 3 points, 27-24. Redskins threw a shutout at the Eagles today in D.C. Washington coming out with 3 straight wins after the opening losses. New Orleans wins over winless Houston. Now Tampa Bay's gone in front of Green Bay 27-20. 3rd down, a long 5 for the Broncos. They lead by 3. Raiders out of timeouts. Wilhite gets ahead. They'll stop the clock to measure.
I don't think he made it. Now they're going to have to make a decision.
56 seconds.
Now move that clock down. They're going to bring it in and measure. If it's going to be a 4th down, now do you take a chance with a punter in there, or do you take a chance on 4th and short yardage to pick it up? The clock is ticking now. 50, 49, 48, moving on down. They're going to run a play. They'll try and control it. They'll run as much off the clock as they can.
This is the stuff of
what do you want? Now they can't get the signal in from the sideline. Now they're saying take a timeout.
They do, so they don't have to go 4th and 6 to delay a game.
Okay, you let the clock tick down. They took most of the 30-second clock, calling that timeout at the final seconds. Now they'll run a play and try and maintain possession by getting a first down.
While we have a moment, our thanks to spotters Al King and Ron Telpers, Ray Friedman and Tom Murray, and to Phil Olson, brother of Merlin Olson. Phil looks ready to get right back in there and play.
I think he still is. There they are. There they are, the brain trusts. Elway talking to Reeves. They're making an important decision here because even though there's a little time left, if they can just convert on this play, it's all over. It's virtually over anyway. With just 27 seconds on the clock, you've almost got to bounce that ball into the air, pick it off, and run downfield. Current drive, 9 plays, 45 yards, has consumed 4 minutes and 7 seconds. Now that's how you control the clock.
The Raider legend was built on great endings, and they still have a chance, albeit a remote one, as it's 4th down and less than a yard for the Denver Broncos, who lead 16-13.
Good shot of Elway in the huddle. He's a leader as well.
Well, I think he's going to be a great one. Look on him is right. Raiders are really jamming the front. Here's a handoff. I think he got there.
I think he did too. They were trying to get him to jump off sides, Don. They were hoping the Raiders would jump off sides on that play. They didn't do it, but I think they got it anyway.
Good times are rolling right now in Denver. They're finally going to beat the Raiders.
I think what they might be remembering is that back in 1977, when they beat the Raiders to end their 4-game winning streak, that Bronco team went on to the Super Bowl. And they're starting to chant, think about it now, and look at them surging out onto the field.
A dramatic win. That is it. The Broncos win 16-13.